good evening. Yes, you're not imagining things. We're back live on the channel. Our little ban is over, and we can now stream live finally after a week in the sin bin. Good to be back on the channel again. A little bit short notice, I know, for this show. I was planning to do one a bit earlier, but things kind of changed a little bit. But we have got a show for you. It's the opposition view, obviously looking ahead to tomorrow night's big game at St James's Park, Arsenal versus Newcastle. We've got a very, very special guest joining us as well, coming up the other side of this. So good evening, it's John, of course, John Sinclair from John Sinclair TV, of course, on YouTube. Fantastic to have you back on the channel. Are you okay today?
Much better, Richard. Much better, my guy. Just glad to get back. You got us back on again. It's been a pleasure for us to join us again.
Yeah, no, it's good to see you again. Obviously, ahead of the game tomorrow night. It's obviously become a slightly more important game for Arsenal, perhaps in the last sort of 48 hours or so than maybe it might have been. But obviously, the season for Newcastle, first of all, it's been a big season, hasn't it, with a takeover. And you had a big transfer window in January, turned the season around. Obviously, it's your last home game tomorrow. What are your thoughts on the season overall? Because you must be quite excited about what the future brings.
Absolutely. Look, I mean, it's been hasn't been a great start. 14 wins without a win, 14 games without a win. And look, I think Eddie Howe's done a magnificent job, Richard. He really has, and I'm just so excited to see what the future brings for us in the summer, and which is great. And he's done a magnificent job, got us to where we want to be, got us clear for relegation, and I just think the future is bright here in a minute. And I was just so excited, and I think all Newcastle fans should be too.
Yeah, no, I mean, exactly. I know the takeover took a long time to happen. You're back with us, are you? I mean, the takeover seemed to take a long time, didn't it, to actually get sorted out? It wasn't a quick process. It seemed to be dragging on for ages, but it finally happened. And obviously, we can already see, can't we, the difference that it's made to the club with the transfers that you've brought in. Some good signings in January, wasn't there?
Oh, it's been some good signings. I mean, we needed players to just come in and make a difference to keep us up. Trippier, absolutely fantastic for me. That's the best sign of the lot. I mean, Matt Targett on loan, done a great job. I mean, defending well, gets forward well. Chris Wood, now for me, I think it's been a little bit of a letdown for me, Chris Wood. Okay, he did what he had to do, but it's not my favourite. But he did what he had to do. And he scored 2 goals in 13 games. And we also got Bruno Gamache. That guy's brilliant. Absolutely world class. I mean, he comes in, right? And he scored 4 goals this season. He's done a job for us. And he's been fantastic for us as well. And if you look at Dan Burn from Brighton, look, he's come in, right? And he just showed the defence up big time. And it's been brilliant. And look, they've done a job for us, made a difference, and just over the moon.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you were bottom of the table, or certainly in the bottom 3 for a long time, weren't you, in the first part of the season, and things were looking great. But obviously, the signings, I think what you've done was you bought players in the positions that you needed to strengthen. You got a few defenders in, which was so important. Like you said, Bruno Guimaraes in midfield has made a massive difference. He can score goals. And obviously, Chris Wood up front, maybe not quite the goals that you're hoping for, but I think he's done a job for the team, hasn't he? Maybe not the most exciting signing, but I think this is just a start, isn't it? I think this summer for Newcastle is going to be massive now, isn't it? To build on what you've got now to take you to the next level, because I think next season you've got to be looking at challenging for Europe, haven't you?
Absolutely. I mean, look, I totally agree with what you said about bringing the players to make a difference. Yeah. I mean, if we have not brought these players coming in, we'd be relegated. We'd be relegated by now. And they come in and done the job for us and kept us up. But you're right. I mean, we get more players coming in, and I expect us to finish in a top 10, at least top 10 position, right? And hopefully get to around about 7th, 6th, 7th. What are we going to spend? If we're going to spend that kind of money, then I think Eddie Howe has to get us into European positions next season if he can. I know Newcastle fans going to come in and said, no, doesn't have to get us in Europe, just get some 10 in a cup. But for us, for a big club like Newcastle, 52,000 comes in every week. Me personally, not been in Europe for nearly 10 years, it's not good, but we need to be there if we can. But I got trusted anyhow to do it. The players seem to like him.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, I think that the what's going to happen in the summer is going to be really important, and I think that at the moment as well, there seems to be a lot of clubs sort of challenging or traditionally challenging for the top four, such as Tottenham, Manchester United, even Arsenal, Chelsea a little bit as well. They're going through a little bit of transition, aren't they? So I think that even next season, there's a position in the top four that could be available for, if Newcastle spend right, there could be a place available. You know, I mean, we hopefully will get it this year. We'll talk about that in a minute. But, you know, I think next season, there's a lot of transition going on with some of these clubs, isn't there? You know, and if you just take out Liverpool and Man City, you could say there's maybe 2 places in the top four next season up for grabs. And there could be now 5 or 6 teams, couldn't there, looking to get those 2 places. And I think Newcastle could be one of those teams, couldn't they, now, with the money that you've got to spend this summer?
Absolutely. I mean, look, you just said about transition, yeah? I mean, Chelsea, we don't know what's going to happen to them with new ownership. And Man United under Erik ten Hag, I mean, that could take about 3 or 4 years for them to win a title. They're not going to win a title in the first season, but it's going to take them a bit of time. There's going to be a turnover of players going to come in. Yeah, Tottenham depends if Conte stay. If he gets in top 4, then you never know. I mean, I think Conte will get the players he wants to bring in, and they're going to give it a right go. But you're right. But it depends which player's going to come in. But pricing a top quality player to Newcastle is tough, because they rather want to come to London. Yeah, I could be wrong on that. But at the end of the day, we should get in the players that want to come and play for the badge. So on the project, right, as well. And we've got new owners here. And just say, look, you're going to get a first team every week. You're going to play every week. If you went to the bigger clubs, then you're going to be on the bench on some games. But come to us, do what you can, and then push us into Europe. That's all you're asking for.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's an opportunity for a new team maybe next season to really challenge to get into Europe. You know, it could be somebody like Wolves. It could be, you know, Leicester could try and sneak back in again. They've had a poor season in the league and stuff like that. And I think Newcastle as well could be one of them teams. So I think next year, for a club like Arsenal, who are just trying to get back into the top again, I think it's going to be even harder next year than it has been the last couple of years and this year as well. So I think there's going to be some changes maybe at the top end of the Premier League over the next few years. And it could be an exciting time, but equally it might not be so exciting for some of the clubs that have been taking it for granted for a while, haven't they? That they're going to be expected to be up there. Things might start changing actually, and it might make the league a bit more, you know, opens it up a bit more, doesn't it? It's been nice to see different teams challenging for stuff, because it's been, you know, Liverpool and Man City have dominated it, Chelsea, Man United for years, and it'd be nice, wouldn't it, to have a few different teams challenging. And obviously, I'm hoping it can be Arsenal as well getting in the mix. You know, we're sort of improved this season compared to the last couple of seasons. We're on the brink, aren't we, getting back in there? So, you know, this is what it's all about for me. And I say Newcastle are a big club, and they maybe deserve to be up there. But the club seem to be getting quite a lot of stick, don't they, from the media and stuff like that, because of the takeover and stuff. I mean, what have you been making of all of that? Because do you think people are maybe a little bit worried about Newcastle coming back, or do you think there's more to it than that? Because the Saudi connections, all that kind of stuff's been brought up a lot, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, all it is, it's been well documented for the last few months, especially the last few days. Excuse me. Particularly Oliver Holt, if you don't mind mentioning his name. I mean, if you've seen a tweet out, I mean, I've done a clip yesterday of him, and basically it's just clearly rattled as well to see what Newcastle's going to do. I mean, this is the same Oliver Holt for the Daily Mail. It's come out and said about doesn't matter if it's Chelsea's money, Man City money, Man United money, whatever sort of thing, right? Doesn't matter if it's them. He sent a tweet out, by the way, that as well. And fast forward 2 seasons, right? He's really cussing Newcastle United every single time. Cruises wearing the Saudi Arabia shirts, having a go at the way we're going to operate, etc. He's even calling our club, saying that time we're going to be Saudi Arabia because we're going to wear the green and white shirt next season away from home. Yeah, But he's not the only one. You got Miguel Delaney cussing Newcastle, is having a go. these journalists, some of the journalists are so scared of seeing what Newcastle's going to do in future years, yeah? But let's be real. And it's a disgrace. I mean, I just do not like these journalists can carry on and reap and cry for the care. But we're moving on. We just do our thing, yeah? I mean, these people bought the club in good intentions, right? Then the Saudi state, PIF, both separate, yeah? Both separate, yeah? The PIF's got now do the Saudi state, yeah? The owner's director test got passed, yeah? Eventually, yeah? That's it. As far as I'm concerned, it's all good, yeah? So we should just get on with our thing, leave us alone, right? And let's get on with it, yeah? But I'll tell you what, though, Rich, right? Newcastle are definitely going to do bits within the next few seasons. And we could get into Europe, could get in the top 4, win things, and people just have to take it seriously, mate. But I'm not going to take any notice of Oliver Holt or Miguel Delaney about Newcastle. I'll just let them get on with it now because, to be fair, I'm sick of them and cussing Newcastle out all the time. They're both getting in Iraq, and they're both getting it on social media, which I think is a good thing as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like it when kind of sport and politics get confused and get joined together. And it's happened quite a lot in the last couple of years. And I think that, what happens with sport and what happens with politics should be separate. And yes, I understand the issues that there's been with Saudi Arabia, with the humanitarian issues and stuff like that. But that's nothing to do with Newcastle. That's something separate, isn't it? It's nothing to do with the football. Yes, the money's come from that country and stuff like that. But, I don't like it when it all gets confused like that. I think that they should be separate. Concentrate on what's happening on the sports side of it and separate politics away from it because it's not really that important, is it? Let's be honest. You could look at the money that all clubs have got. It's come from somewhere that maybe not always is going to be best. Chelsea, as we know, and stuff like that. Man City, the same. And they don't seem to be getting the same amount of focus as what Newcastle have been, and I don't necessarily think that's fair, and I don't want to see that in any. I don't think it's the right way. I mean, Terry puts a comment in the chat there. He says it's jealousy. I wish they had bought Arsenal instead. We'd like to take over as well, and we'd like a load of money so that we could, maybe challenge for Man City and stuff like that. But I mean, say politics should be kept out of it, and I don't like that happening. I think it's wrong. And ultimately, we need to worry about the sport and the football side of it, really, because that's what matters, isn't it? And, Newcastle are going to hopefully be a big club champion again very soon. And I think it'll be good for football, personally. And, regardless of, whether you agree with where the money's come from or not, I don't think that shouldn't be what the focus is. The focus should literally be on the sport and how it affects, the team and stuff like that, and spending the money in the right way. For me, that's what it is. And I know some people don't like it and stuff like that, but ultimately, that's up to them. You know what I mean? I'm not.
They need to get used to it. Then they need to get used to it because.
Yeah, no, you're right. Exactly. Exactly. They do need to get used to it, and I think that's. The way it is. I mean, it's Man City. No one's really gone on in Man City, have they? And they're basically only the same, aren't they? So, I just think it's one of them things. And Russ in the chat as well. Evening, lads. Yep, how you doing, Russ? Thanks for tuning in, mate. I'm glad we can finally get back live on the channel again, following little issues that we had, which was unfortunate. But anyway, so looking ahead, obviously, to the game tomorrow. It's your last home game of the season, of course. You've had a good run at home. I think since Eddie Howe's come in, I think you've only lost at home in the league to Liverpool and Man City, which is out of about 15, 16 games at home. So, we know from our point of view that's going to be a difficult game. It's a game we have to win, but it's the last home game as well. I think that's a big thing. Newcastle will be up for this game, I think. I mean, what are you kind of expecting for tomorrow? I know you're not just going to roll over and let us win, I'm sure. But what are you anticipating?
Well, first off, we got to do what you've got to do. I do apologize if we're going to beat you tomorrow, but it's going to be a tough game. Look, it's going to be a tough game. All the pressure's going to be on you guys because you need to win, especially if Spurs won today against Burnley 1-0. So that puts pressure on you guys. But losing to Spurs on Thursday was just wasn't great, wasn't it? I mean, you were poor after 10 minutes. You were poor, but the pressure's going to be on you. The injury record you've got, I mean, apparently Ben White ain't going to play and Gabriel ain't going to play neither, apparently. I mean, Gabriel's having a test tomorrow sort of thing, but your makeshift back four ain't going to be strong. And it is not great, unfortunately, Partey is going to be a miss for you as well. He's been outstanding. And Nenny played well for the first 3 or 4 games. It's gone back to the old Nenny as well. But it's just saying Saka. I think that guy's quality. I do like Saka. Martinelli doing Martinelli things. I think this guy's going to be world class in the years to come. But the problem you got at the minute is up front. I mean, is Nketiah the answer? Is he really the answer? Yes, he scored 4 goals for you guys. I mean, 3 against Sunderland. But at the end of the day, is he going to step up? Is he the answer long term? He's out of contract at the end of the season, and he's been offered a new contract, but he's not going to sign it until he gets in the first team. But I think Arsenal's going to be under pressure. But us for our team, Kieran Trippier's back, Callum Wilson's back, and our back was going to be strong. And the midfield, with Gamache in there, Bruno Gamache, I think it's going to make a difference in the midfield. Joel Linton has been outstanding for us as well. And I don't want to see Sean Longstaff in that team ever again. He's not good enough for Newcastle. Yeah, this guy, the last game played, where was he? I didn't know he was on that pitch. And up front, ASM, I like him, but he's only had one assist since September. Yeah, brilliant game against Everton, but other than that, he hasn't scored since then and hasn't made an assist. We all know what he's like. He's quick and he's so direct and he's dribble. Yeah, on this day is class, but at the end of the day, it's finding a ball and the shooting's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, as Russ puts in the chat there, we're down to the bare bones at the back. We are, and that's a worry for me because obviously Callum Wilson's back, as you said, and he's going to be itching. He's not scored for a while because he's been injured. He's back in the team. He's going to be itching for a goal or two, isn't he, to finish the season? He'll be. We haven't seen what the lineup's going to be yet for Arsenal, but if we've got a makeshift back four, which could well be the case if Gabriel's injured, Ben White might not be fit, and if we've got, maybe it could be Tomiyasu might be playing centre back and stuff like this. It could be a bit of and Callum Wilson look at that team only and think to himself, you know what, this is an opportunity for me to get some goals, and you couldn't blame him for that. And that's a worry for me. Our defence, we'll have to see exactly how that goes. Ryan from the Miss Arsenal podcast says there, Gabriel is fine to play alongside White tomorrow. Just need to sort out who's at left back. Well, has that been confirmed yet, though? Because I don't think it's actually confirmed that they're definitely going to be both fit. I think there's still a doubt until tomorrow, maybe. We'll have to see what the team is. Obviously, we hope they're both fit because that would be a massive boost for us. But yeah, I know that this is going to be a tough game. Newcastle at home are a difficult team to play. And I know we've got a great record there over the years. You've only beaten us once, I think, since... it's been a long time, hasn't it? That one defeat that we've had at St James's came a few years ago, but that's been the only one for a long time, hasn't it? Probably 12 visits or something like that. So, but it's a tough place to go, especially this second half of this season. It's been a really tough place to go, and it's such a big game now because we have to win. A draw is not going to be good enough because if we draw, it allows Tottenham to sneak that 4th place on the last day by winning away at Norwich, which, let's be honest, they probably will. So, I think we have to win, and I don't think it's going to be. It's going to make it a tense night, isn't it? I guess we've got more to play for because it's a top 4, massively important, but ultimately, I don't think it's going to be a case of it's Newcastle is going to roll over, are they? Because you've got a lot to play for yourself, haven't you? Like you said, people looking to next season as well, trying to, they want to. There's going to be signings made. Players want to make an impression to make sure that they're still in the side next season, don't they?
I have to agree. If you said that, you're absolutely right. It is going to be a very tough game for you. It's going to be a difficult game. Look, we want to finish as high as we can, which is well documented because these players who you got now are playing for the futures, yeah? But when it comes to the end of the season, I expect about 8 to 10 players to be leaving the club anyway, whether it be on a free release or not deemed good enough for this football club, yeah? Like I said, our back 4 has been absolutely fantastic. This year, they've already conceded more 1 goal this year, 5 against Spurs and 5 last week against Man City, which wasn't great. It's not nice when you get beat by 5s. We do get beat. We get beat well. But at the end of the day, it's just not great. But we're not conceding silly goals. We're defending well. And, Bruno's outstanding, like I said. But it's scoring goals is a problem up front. Chris Wood, 2 goals since he's joined us, yeah? That ain't good enough. We pay, 25 million for the guy, yeah? But this is the thing, Rich. I mean, we're not going to make it easier for you, unfortunately, right? And I don't think you expect that as well. Arsenal, they do play fantastic football. Yeah, they move the ball about. But I think it's going to be a close game than people make out to be. I really do. But like I said, it's going to be tough. And you'll have more possession of the ball, 110%. You're definitely going to have more of the ball. And we're just going to counter you. And I think Eddie will probably play that way as well. But next season, it's going to be all changed. I think he's going to change tactics next season and play his favourite formation of 4-4-1-1. And like I said, it's going to be an exciting game tomorrow. Very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is because of how important it is for Arsenal. So we can't afford to sit back and take a draw. We've got to try at some point in the game. I know Arteta doesn't like taking too many risks, but at some point in the game, if it's still 0-0 or we're drawing the game, we're going to have to take risks to get a goal to win. And that could leave us open to the counter-attack, especially if we have got one or two defenders out. I know Ryan in the chat there seems to think it's just Arteta playing mind games. Yeah, maybe it is. But ultimately, Gabriel did go off injured the other night. Ben White didn't come on because he's not fit. So it's clear that there's been issues with them. How fit are they? And even if they're fit enough to start, are they really ready to play in such an important game? You know, if there's a little doubt about their fitness and they're maybe not 100% fit and they're maybe just going to push them in, that could be a risk as well, couldn't it? Because they could make mistakes, they could get caught out, stuff like that. So I don't know. We'll have to see what the lineup is first before we worry too much. Russ says there, so do we see it being Tomiyasu and Cedric again, the two fullbacks maybe? We'll have to see what happens there. If we don't win tomorrow, it's fifth, and I'm not a fan of Thursday, Sunday football. To be honest with you, I didn't mind the Europa League when we had it before. Yes, we want to be in the Champions League, obviously. But ultimately, this season, we have to be in Europe. We will be in Europe. That's guaranteed. It's which competition. And yes, we all want the Champions League, and it will be massive for the club. But if it happens to be fifth and it's the Europa League, we'll have to deal with it. And at least we have got European football again, which I think is massively important for the club, and see how we go, obviously, next season. But yeah, we'll have to see what the injury state is. But I think it could be an interesting game simply for the fact that Arsenal have to win. And normally away from home, you can think, if we know what a draw is not a bad result away from home. At a club like Newcastle at the moment, you know, you've been fired at home, but we can't afford a draw. At some point, we have to try to win this game, and whether we start quickly, try and get an early goal is the ideal situation, or do we play our way into the game? Grow into the game. I'm not sure if we will have a massive amount of possession. Actually, I think it. I don't think you'll sit back and let us have the ball. I think the crowd will be pushing you on because your last home game of the season. So I'm not sure that it's going to be. Yeah, overall, I think we'll have more possession because we play a possession game, but I don't think it's going to be completely like one-way possession. I think you'll be in the game yourselves. I think you'll take the game to us. I think you'll have chances, and depending on our defense situation, there could be goals in this game, couldn't there?
I have to agree. I mean, look, he said there'd be goals. I could see goals in this game tomorrow night, sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, the last home game of the season, we've got now to play for. I think we should go for it, have a real go. And look, I mean, when you do get chances, some of the chances has to be great, but it's all down on ASM. He's the one who's going to create the chances. Yeah, if you allow him to take the game, and in a dangerous area, he's going to have a real go. But he's got to take a chance. Bruno can score goals. I like to see Miggy as well start as well because he's got a point to prove, and he's got that cracking goal against Palace. By the way, I like to see him play, and maybe it's Jacob Murphy as well. Give Jacob Murphy a try as well on the right-hand side. But this game could go either way. I mean, this could be like an end-to-end game as well, in my opinion, while I look at it like. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be exciting. But in goal, got Aaron Ramsdale for me. I think he's been the best keeper in the season. He's been absolutely excellent this season, yeah. But beating him is going to be tough because he does make some great saves. But going back, right, I mean, I think he should have been Champions League by now, Rich. If you're beating Palace, Southampton, and Brighton, you'd be Champions League.
I mean, to be honest with you, what's happened this season it's been quite weird because we've only drawn 3 games out of 36, which is the least we've ever drawn in a season. And it's an unusually low number of draws, isn't it? 3 in a season. Usually, most teams are drawing 6 or 7, aren't they? Some teams, Crystal Palace have drawn about 14, haven't they? So, if we'd managed to draw half of those games that we've lost, we'd be third probably. and already in the top four without a problem. So that's been an issue for us. We either seem to win or lose. There doesn't seem to be much in between with Arsenal this season. Funny enough, we're having that documentary called All or Nothing, and it seems to be all or nothing. We either win or we lose, and we're not drawing games. And it's just funny because it's just the way it's gone, isn't it? It's just a little bit strange that we haven't drawn many games, and that's been our problem, I think. If we'd managed to turn it, like you said, Southampton, we lost 1-0. It wouldn't have taken a lot to have got a draw in that game. We played pretty well. That's another point there. You know, Brighton, we lost 2-1 at home to Brighton. We really shouldn't have lost that game at home to Brighton. Even just a draw there, that's 2 more points, you know, and suddenly that top four's there, isn't it? It wouldn't have took a lot more than what we've done. But unfortunately, we've just come short in certain games. And whether that's inexperience, a young team, whether it's lack of depth, squad depth, because you mentioned Eddie Nketiah before, and you're right. We're having to play Eddie Nketiah up front because we didn't buy a striker in January. We let Aubameyang go, and we didn't replace him. So now we've had Eddie Nketiah and Lacazette just before that, before he got he was out with COVID or whatever it was, and he can't get his place back because Eddie's come in and scored a few goals. But if you've just got Eddie Nketiah as your striker, that is not a team that's going to be feared in the Champions League next season, is it? With Eddie Nketiah up front, we need better quality than that. And yes, he's done well. He scored goals when we've needed them, and he's played pretty well. But overall, long term, I'm sure we'll buy a striker in the summer. We have to, surely, at least one. But yeah, that's been our issue. And if we don't make Champions League, if we do finish fifth, if we don't get a win tomorrow, or we win tomorrow, maybe blow it against Everton next weekend, I'm not sure. But if we don't, the simple reason will be will be because we didn't buy a striker in January, and we didn't strike. We let Aubameyang go for whatever reasons. That's done, fair enough. But we needed to replace him with somebody, just anybody we could have brought in who could have done a job till the end of even a loan, someone till the end of the season that could have been a striker that's going to get you between January and the end of the season, who's going to come in and get you maybe 10 goals. And there would have been players out that we could have brought in, even if it's a short-term thing. It doesn't have to be someone to fit with this young project that we're doing. Just get someone in for 6 months to do a job to get you in the Champions League, because we were in the top 4 in January at the time when we needed to push on, and we didn't. And I think that might cost us. We might get away with it still. We might win our last 2 games. It's done. Or Spurs might end up doing the Spurs as they usually do. Yeah. But ultimately, if we don't do it, it's down. I've seen a lot of stuff on social media today. Blaming the referees, giving Tottenham penalties here, there, and everywhere, stuff like that. Right? Yeah, and fair enough. That was a soft penalty today, a soft penalty against us. But if we don't get top 4, it's down to us. It's down to the fact we didn't strengthen in January, and we haven't. Like you just said there, those games that we've lost, we shouldn't have lost. And had we not lost them games, it would. So it's down to us, isn't it? We can't blame anybody else. If we don't do it, it's down to us, and we have to accept that. And if we do it, brilliant. We got away with a few things that we did wrong, and we can hopefully learn from that. Going forward next season. Terry says Pat outclassed Arteta and Palace. Well, they did. I mean, that's one thing this season with Arsenal, isn't it? We've suffered some heavy defeats: 5-0 at Man City, 4-0 at Liverpool, 3-0 at Palace, 3-0 at Tottenham. These are big defeats for Arsenal, and if we don't get top 4, that will be one of the big reasons, won't it? You can't afford to lose games like that. And like you said, I mean, Newcastle have stopped conceding all those goals. Yes, you had a bad defeat at Man City, but there's no disgrace in that because Man City are a very good team, aren't they? I don't know why you managed to lose 5-1 against Tottenham, though. That was a little bit of a bad one, wasn't it, a few weeks ago?
That was a bad one because our defending for that game was absolutely shocking. I analysed it as well, by the way, but it's just basic defensive errors, and you can't do that. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Spurs were clinical that day. We just defended poorly. It could have been a lot more, but at the end of the day, and also, Conte's made a difference to Tottenham as well. He comes in, right, and he's turned bang average players into quality players, yeah? Eric Dyer, Ben Davies, Emerson Royale, yeah? I'm not a fan of Emerson, by the way. More like Chicken Royale at the end of the day, mate. But, but to be fair to him, he's done all right. I mean, at this moment in time, he's done fantastic. And if you look at the attacking wise, you've got Bentancur. That guy is absolutely brilliant. Kulusevski, I mean, he comes in, right, and he's made a huge difference to his skill. Yeah. And Son and Kane doing their bits, sort of thing. Bear in mind, Harry Kane hasn't scored for the first 8 games. He still scores 26 goals this season. Yeah,
and I mean that ultimately, if we do finish out of Tottenham and we do get top 4, you have to look at that and say that's a great achievement for this young Arsenal team, because, like you said, Tottenham have got I think they've got a stronger team than us, a stronger squad than us. You know, like you said, Son and Kane are two of the best goal scorers in the Premier League. They are. There's no doubt about that. Their numbers that they're putting in season after season, you know, and they signed well in January. I believe they've got a good manager. I think Conte is a great manager, isn't he? He's won the Premier League with Chelsea. He won the double with Chelsea. He didn't win the double, did he? We beat him in the cup final.
No,
but
in the cup final.
He won the Premier League with Chelsea. He won a lot of trophies in his career. He knows what he's doing. He knows what it's all about. And you can see he's turned them around, because they were in a real mess, weren't they, when he came in? And he's turned them around, and now he's got them on the brink of the top four. Well, at the moment they're in the top four, certainly until tomorrow. So yeah, I mean, it would be a great achievement for this Arsenal team to finish ahead of Tottenham actually this season with the players that they've got compared to our squad depth, and you know we've got a lot of young players. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens. But I agree. I think Conte's done a great job there. Actually, he's turned that around, because he looked like he was losing it at the beginning. Do you remember that game when they lost? Was it to Burnley? And he was saying the players aren't good enough, and he went on a right old one, didn't he? And he looked like he'd lost it completely, and you're thinking he's going to walk out. But he's actually, from that point to now, he's turned that around quite well, hasn't he? With the results that they've got, you know, and they score a lot of goals because they've got goal scorers in their team, and you know he's done a good job. But ultimately, I'm hoping he's going to fail ultimately to get that top four, because you know that's what we want, and it is still in our hands. I know it doesn't seem like it after the other night when they hammered us in the end, didn't they? But what did you make of some of those? Did you watch that game, the North London derby the other night? What did you make of some of those decisions? Because there were a few kind of the penalty in particular that Tottenham got was a bit of a soft one, wasn't it?
It was a penalty, by the way. I'm sorry to say, but it's very soft, very soft. And Izo and Son, I mean, should have been sent off on elbow on Holding as well. But then again, Holding got booked. He got booked, but he was warned before that. He was warned before he got booked. But that second yellow should have been a straight red for what he did.
Yeah, I thought so. I
no
agree.
question.
I agree.
But
I agree with that. Yeah, I thought that was a straight red on its own, because he just whacked him in the face, didn't he? You know what I mean? You just can't do that.
I agree. He's going to be there.
No, I mean, funny enough, I was doing a watch along in the game, and I actually said Rob Holding had done about 3 fouls on Song. He hadn't got booked, and I said the next foul he does, the ref's going to book him. And the next foul he did, the ref booked him. You can't argue with that. That's fair enough. He'd done about 3 or 4, and then after that, well, he had to be clever, didn't he, and play it cleverly, because he knew he's on a yellow card. He couldn't keep doing what he was doing. And in the end, he did another stupid thing. And I agree, that was definitely a red card. He deserved to be sent off. I kind of agree with you. I thought it was a penalty, because he did push him in the back, didn't he? Cedric pushed Son in the back. He's gone down easily, but Son does anyway. You know he's going to go down.
He does.
It was a stupid challenge to make. He didn't need to make it, because Son wasn't going to get there. The ball was over his head. He wasn't going to get there, was he? Why did you need to do that? You didn't. And yes, a lot of the time they're not given. I agree with that. They're not given. And players get away with it, don't they? Those sort of little things in the box sometimes. And obviously we did one, we didn't get away with it. But I thought it was a penalty. When you see the replay, you think, yeah, I can see why he's given it. He's right in front of the referee. He pushed him in the back. You can't do that. You can't do that. So,
not when you got VAR as well. VAR could check on that as well. And basically, even if it wasn't given, it would have gone on a VAR check, and it would have been given anyway, even though it's a soft penalty there. Let's be real. I mean, there's been a lot of bad decisions gone against us this season, gone against a few teams this season as well. So it is what it is. I'm going to see next season, right? If we get 4th and say United got 5th, and we play them at Old Trafford the last game of the season, whoever it may be, right? I mean, I'll bet yous, right? If they get like a dodgy decision, they get it. If we get a player we got taken out in the box, it's not going to be given. Because you know why? Because the Premier League wants United to be in the Champions League and not us. You just watch.
I mean, to be honest with you, you've seen this season, haven't you? Some of the decisions that's gone to certain clubs that other clubs just don't get. I mean, that penalty Tottenham got today, would Burnley have got that at the other end? I don't think they would have. You know, would Norwich have got a decision like that in a game? I don't think they would have. You know, would those sort of teams, Watford and teams like that, would they get those decisions? I'm not sure that they would. But you know, it is what it is. You can't, you know, technically it hit his arm and his arm was out, and you could say yes, technically that's a penalty, but they're not given a lot of the time, are they? And it's like two games in a row now, Tottenham have got a very soft penalty, which aren't always given, and it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? And I agree with you. I think next season, if Man United are in with a chance of getting top 4, I think some soft decisions will be going their way at crucial games. I believe it probably will. But you know, They had one or two against us this season. Actually, they got a penalty in both games. Actually, we had against Man U. They scored one and missed one. So
look at
it is what it is, really.
look at the one against Rodri as well. I mean, Rodri against against Everton. Yeah, what about that decision as well? If Everton get relegated, look at that decision as well. It was a clear. It was handball all day long. It even went to Vieira, and he still didn't give the decision.
Yeah, but again, you see, it's the club, isn't it? It's Man City. If that was Arsenal, that's a penalty given. If it was Newcastle, that's a penalty. If it was Norwich, it's a penalty. But it's Man City, so it's not a penalty. And that seems to be the way it is. I mean, Dean says that Arsenal is really showing their age with poor in-game decision-making. Exactly, yeah. But then Rob Holding isn't this young player, is he, like some of the others? He's got a bit more experience. He's been at Arsenal, 6 years? You know, he's played a lot of games in the Premier League. He shouldn't be making those immature decisions that other players you could maybe expect him to do. Cedric's another one. He's got more experience. And these are the players that are making it. It's not really the young kids that are making these silly decisions usually, is it? You've got Xhaka sometimes makes silly decisions. He's experienced players. Cedric, Holding, you know, these are the players that shouldn't be doing that. It's not like the younger players like Tommy Asu who's doing it, or Ben White that's doing it, or Martin Odegaard that's doing it, or Saka or Smith Rowe. It's not them, is it? Martinelli. It's not them. It's the older, more experienced players. So, you know, that's an issue there that needs to be looked at. I don't quite know what the problem is there. Dean says it'll definitely be tough going Newcastle tomorrow. No, it is. I mean, to be honest with you, I looked at this a few weeks ago, and it was obviously going to come down to the last couple of games for the top four. If I was on top, it was obvious with the way that the games were going, the results were going. And I looked at our last two games of the season: Newcastle away and Everton at home. Everton fighting for their lives to stay in the Premier League. Newcastle on a massive high the club, last home game of the season. And it's like those two games for me were always going to be really tough for Arsenal to win. And if we do win them, and we get the 6 points to make the top four, we definitely deserve to finish top four, because just to win those two games anyway, because they're tough two games to win. And you look at, you know, Tottenham's last two games, you know, they had Burnley at home and Norwich away. You have to say those two games on paper certainly are a lot easier. So it is a tough game tomorrow, and the fixtures haven't really been kind to us necessarily, even though, as I say, historically, we've got a great record away at Newcastle, haven't we? You know, we tend to always win that fixture, even when we're not maybe playing that well. But I'm not so sure tomorrow is going to be one of those games. I think historic results, I think, sometimes make a difference to a team's mindset and mentality when they play a game. We go away to Old Trafford and we struggle there. We go away at Chelsea, we struggle usually. This year we did well, but, you know, Liverpool away, we struggle. And that seems to be, regardless of what players are playing, how many years it goes. And I think it's the same with Arsenal and Newcastle. You go to Newcastle, you think, right, we win here every year. But I think this season, this game in particular, that's not going to matter, is it? Because it's a different Newcastle now. It's a different atmosphere in the stadium, and it's such an important game for Arsenal. And I think all that's going to go out the window now, isn't it, for tomorrow? I don't think that's going to matter, the fact that we've won. I think we've won 7 of the last 8 visits or something like that, isn't it? Something silly like that.
You did. Yeah. I mean, we beat us on Rafa Benitez, was it 2018 or something like that?
Yeah, that's the last one.
We won that. We won that game, and look, he had a few chances, he missed them again. But you're right. I mean, he says a different Newcastle. This is not a Newcastle on the steep who's going to play bloody boring football 5-4-1 with a low block as well, sort of thing. What you want to call that sort of thing? But it's a different Newcastle. We're going to have a go, and this is a Newcastle that's going to fight and scrap. What it is, Rich, our players are a lot fitter.
Yeah.
Give it a go, and we're not soft touch, especially at home, and we give everything against Liverpool. Okay, it was a soft goal to concede, but we stuck at it. We stayed in the game. Simple as that. You stay in the game, you got a good chance. But we're going to stay in games as well. Arsenal's going to be tough, but look, at the end of the day, and it depends on who Eddie puts out, and we're going to get the right goal. But we're going to finish as high as we can, and now we've got Trippier and Wilson back in the team. Like I said earlier, it'll make a difference.
Yeah,
but,
I know.
It's going to be massive. It's going to be for us. But Arsenal will be thinking, you know what? I mean, this is different Newcastle, and we're going to make a difference. I really do think we're going to make a difference in that team. But if we don't win, what a season we've had under Eddie Howe. It's been fantastic.
No, you're right. I mean, it's been an amazing tournament. And yes, you know, I think the money spent in January helped. You know, the other teams that at the bottom of the table didn't spend a lot of money, did they, in January? Newcastle spent a lot of money. So you'd imagine that's had an impact as well. But yeah, you've got to get the right players. You've got to gel them as a team. And Eddie's done that, hasn't he? You know, he's experienced manager in the Premier League. He worked wonders at Bournemouth for a long time, didn't he, as well? So it's been. I mean, obviously from your point of view, it must be a great season after the last 3 or 4 that you've had, obviously under Steve Bruce, which were painful to watch, and stuff like that. So I suppose it must have been a great season from your perspective. Terry says that Everton beat us and they hadn't won for 8 years. He meant 8 games, but they probably hadn't won for 8 years. But yeah, they hadn't won for a long time. That's true. They beat us. I mean, everybody's beat us in situations like that, haven't they? The last couple of years. Shane says, "Who is the ref tomorrow?" I did read it somewhere. Do you know who the ref is tomorrow, John?
I don't, mate. I hope it's not Paul Tierney, by the way. I hope it's not.
I don't think it'll be Paul Tierney again. I don't think so. We had him the other night, didn't we? I did read it somewhere. I saw it earlier. I can't remember who it is now. I can't remember who it is. But I'm not going to worry too much about who the referee is and who the VAR is and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to use them as excuses. It's easy done, isn't it? A lot of people, the referee did this, referee did that. And yes, we've had some terrible decisions against us. You guys have had some terrible decisions against you this season. And I don't like to use that as an excuse. To me, we've got 2 games left. We have to win them both. It's in our hands to do that. And if we play well, we've got a good chance of winning them. And if we don't play well, if we make silly mistakes like we did against Tottenham, it wasn't the referee that cost us against Tottenham. It was our silly mistakes. We made too many mistakes and we got punished. And if we make too many mistakes tomorrow against you guys, we'll get punished and we won't win the game. Simple as that. Whatever the referee does.
Exactly. And yes, down in England, by the way.
Is it?
Down in England. Never heard of him.
I think he's one that's recently come onto the Premier League list, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think they're running out of referees, aren't they? To be honest, they're all pretty terrible, aren't they? Let's be fair. I don't think it really matters who you get. They're all very, very poor, aren't they?
The referees in this country, right? You know what it is like, Rich? The referees in this country, right? It's very, very poor. We have got the worst officials in world football, right? I mean, Michael Oliver, cool. I think he's one of the better ones, yeah? But other than that sort of thing, let's be real. I mean, we're missing those characters now. Back in the 80s and that now, these referees back in the 80s and the 90s, they had characters. You can even talk to them, yeah? And when you do something wrong, they just talk to you one-on-one, just say, look, don't do that again. They don't go hard at you sort of thing, you know what I mean? But these referees now don't even talk to you. There's no communication at all. You can't even talk to them.
No. I mean, it's not even just that, is it? I just think that they make far too many bad decisions, and they're far too inconsistent in their decisions. I mean, we mentioned it before. Certain teams get certain decisions, and other teams don't. And it's that kind of inconsistency that annoys me. I don't mind if a referee gets something wrong. You can understand that even with VAR, they're going to make mistakes, right? And that's acceptable. Players make mistakes all the time. We make mistakes as fans all the time, and that's fine. What isn't acceptable is when they make mistakes differently for different clubs, or they make the decisions differently for different clubs for the same sort of incident. And I know no incident's exactly the same. There's always differences in the way it is, but ultimately we've seen it quite clearly. It's that inconsistency that annoys me. Terry says, Darren England is the ref. Yeah, I think he's one of the newer Premier League ones, isn't he? Russ says FIFA not wanting any English ref at the World Cup says it all. Standard is diabolical and corrupt, quite frankly. No, I mean, that's a good point. We don't get referees at the big tournaments, do we? Because maybe you could say maybe our refs aren't going because they're not corrupt enough, possibly. And FIFA want to pay everybody off because they seem to like doing that. But I agree, their standard is absolutely dreadful. All of our referees, and I've given up almost looking at or caring who our referee is on a game because it makes no difference. Who it is. Is it Mike Dean? Is it one of the others? Is it Kevin Friend? It makes no difference to me. They are all terrible. I don't care who the referee is because I mean, to be honest, I don't know too much about Darren England. I know he's one of the newer referees, isn't he? Because there's a couple that are leaving this season anyway. But I don't tend to be bothered.
Mike Dean's one of them.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's going. Well, he's going to be doing VAR, I reckon. Although he said he's not.
I'll tell you what, he'd be even worse. I do not trust this guy at all whatsoever. He should be banned for doing our matches. You know what I mean? Because I just do not trust him at all whatsoever. I don't.
No, I mean, I don't really trust any of them, if I'm honest. Yeah. But ultimately, they're an important part of the game. They just need to. I don't know what needs to happen because the standard is getting worse, and it's the same. But to be fair, it's the same referee season after season. They don't get rid of them, do they? I know. So we've got this new guy, Darren England. There's one or two other new names that you're hearing every so often come in and do games here and there, but something needs to change. Dean says referees, I believe, here in the UK are biased towards certain clubs and make way too many. So yeah, they are. They do make. See, VAR was supposed to stop all these silly mistakes, and it isn't. It's just making more mistakes and making it worse, isn't it? I mean, what's going on with that? It's ridiculous.
It's just ridiculous. I have to agree. I mean, look, what it is, right? I mean, what can I say about the referees? And not just that. I mean, the standard refereeing is poor, right? They're not getting chosen for European football as well, like Champions League, UEFA, and whatever I want to call it, right? Europa League, yeah. But you're right, and also as well, I mean, being biased towards certain teams, I'm gonna have to agree. I'm beginning to think about it now. Do you know what I mean? Look at Anthony Taylor, right? He refereed your match between Hughes and Man City, right? I'm sure this referee's got to be a City fan. I'm sure he is. Do you know what I mean? He's got to be. You can't have a referee from Manchester refereeing Man United or Man City. You just cannot. You just cannot. You know what I mean? It's like Mark Clattenburg, a Newcastle supporter referee, referee Newcastle games. Yeah, you can't have that. There's no way. But what's going to happen next is you probably get a referee from Bristol, get a referee the match for the Bristol matches, and just get evidence against them. You know, it's a joke.
No, I mean, to be fair, though, there's no referees in the Premier League from sort of the London area anyway, or even down south. So most referees that Arsenal get are going to be northern based, whether they're northwest or Midlands or wherever it is. There's none from the south anyway. There's no referees in the Premier League, which I find quite strange, because there must be referees who come from those areas in the south of the country that are refereeing elsewhere. I don't understand why they're not refereeing in the Premier League particularly, but I mean, I don't know, that's probably a separate issue that needs to be looked at maybe, but that shouldn't make any difference because referees are supposed to be unbiased, aren't they? You mentioned Michael Oliver. Obviously he's from the northeast, isn't he, Michael Oliver? So he's ref Newcastle. I know he's from Durham or something, isn't he? But he's ref Newcastle games, and they should be unbiased anyway. They should be able to do that and not be biased. That should be the whole point. If you're a referee, if me or you were referees and I couldn't referee an Arsenal game, absolutely no way I could, because I'll be giving Arsenal penalties all day long. But most referees aren't big massive fans, are they? Because they became referees when they were quite young. They wasn't going to watch a team. I know Mike Dean supports Tranmere or someone, doesn't he?
He does.
Stuff like that, which is fine. He's never going to referee Tranmere, is he? Because he's in the Premier League. So, but most of them are. I don't think most of the referees are really big, massive football fans, particularly of clubs. I think that they've been referees, and that's what's taken up all their time, because it takes a lot of work. Let's be honest, it takes a lot of work to become a Premier League referee. You have to work your way through the system. You have to do kids' games at first and work your way through. So I don't think they wouldn't have had the time when they were younger to go through that whole fan thing, going to watch matches and stuff very often. They won't have probably done that. So they shouldn't be biased. They should be professional and just do their job. And sometimes you have to question whether they are biased, because like you said, certain area or come from that certain area, referee in Manchester United or Manchester City, and they do seem to give them teams the decisions, don't they? And they need, it's I don't know really, I can't believe that they really biased. I can't believe that they can be, but is it more than that? Is it an agenda from the FA, the Premier League, that guy, what's his name, who does the PGMOL, the leader of that? He used to be a referee, didn't he? He was a terrible referee. And Mike Riley, he's the one in charge of all the referees, isn't he? I mean, he was a terrible referee anyway, and now he's actually running it. They need to.
I don't get it at all. It is awful. It is awful. I mean, he referee our games against us as well. Back in the 2005, he sent off Boomsong, by the way, he got it right. But all times, this referee is such an arrogant, two-faced referee. And when you go to his face, right, he just books you every single time. You know what I mean? I know it knows you, but you know what it is, right? He should step down because he doesn't talk to me, he doesn't communicate to anyone. You know what I mean? He should get someone, right? You used to play football and get them to take over, yeah? It's like referees. Get a former player to referee games, and they score from there.
Yeah, something needs to change. It definitely needs to change, because it's terrible, really, what's happening. And we've got Luca in the chat. He says, big up, and he's gone, my prediction, I'll go 2-1 Newcastle. Come on, Luca. Be a little bit more optimistic than that. We can't afford to lose. Shane says, John, who do you sign in the summer? Realistic targets, like Rob Holding or Pepe or Nenny Cedric. Take them, please. Shane's just trying to get rid of all our players to Newcastle. You can have a few. Rob Holding, you was interested in Rob Holding, actually, wasn't you? Yeah, a couple of years ago. You can have him now if you want, but I bet you don't want him now, do you?
That's the question for him, right? Is Rob Horden better than Calabaro? He not. I tell you what, the Pepe would have a bad shout, by the way. I think Pepe has still got a lot to offer for me. I mean, I like Nicola Pepe. When it goes on, I think he's done all right. I mean, but at the end of the day, he's not getting much game time. Do you know what I mean? I just don't tend to fancy him. No. But at the end of the day, I'd take Pepe.
Would you?
I probably would. He plays on the right hand side. I think he'd be an upgrade to Jacob Murphy and Miggy Amaron as well. But what's your take on Pepe?
I mean, I personally think he's very, very inconsistent. And he's not just inconsistent in games; he's inconsistent in a game. He'll have a couple of moments of brilliance, right? He'll do nutmegs, he'll dribble past people, and you think, "Wow, what a player!" And then 2 minutes later, he's falling over his own feet, or he's running down blind alleys, running into trouble, getting tackled, losing the ball in a bad area. And he does that constantly in every single game he plays. He doesn't have any consistency in his play. He'll go from doing something exceptionally brilliant to doing something like you wouldn't see on a Sunday morning. You know, this is the problem for me. That it is with Nicholas. He's got ability, right? There's no doubt he's got ability, right? I don't think we can question that. He's a talented player, but he's just too inconsistent. And personally, for me, I don't think he's what we need. I agree. Arteta doesn't fancy him. Arteta does not fancy him. He's never given him a run in the team, has he? You know, last season he played him a lot more. This season, he just hasn't really bothered. And we've got Paul from the Tomb Review.
Oh, he is.
Having a Sinclair, mate.
I'm going to get
a fan of Pepe.
I tell you what, though, Paul's got standards, man. He's got standards, right? He knows exactly who he wants at the club, yeah. But obviously, he's not a Pepe fan. But look, end of the day, right? I love winding Paul up as well. He knows he loves us. I love him as well. He's a great guy. He's gone through a lot, and this guy, honest to God, right? It was someone I talked to, right? Talk to him. Because he's definitely my guy. He's like a brother to us, you know what I mean? And if it hadn't been for Paul doing this content and YouTube channels, I would not have done this. Yeah. But I listened to him. I think I'm doing okay. And I take it as advice, really. But I love the guy. He's fantastic. Big up to Paul.
No, definitely. I mean, the Tomb Review is an amazing channel, actually. And it was, you know, when I first started doing my channel, and his channel was one of the ones that really inspired me to start doing YouTube, because it is a brilliant channel. And, you know, whether you're a Newcastle fan or not, doesn't matter to me. I watch it all the time. I've watched it all the time constantly. And the way that channel's grown has been fantastic. He is a great guy, Paul. I love him. And the channel's brilliant.
Great guy.
But yeah, I mean, you can have Pepe if you want. I don't want him. So you're welcome. You know, maybe we'll swap you for Bruno Guimaraes. How does that sound?
You're talking numbers. You want to talk numbers as well, do you?
Well, we couldn't afford him, actually. Well, we couldn't afford him in January when we were going to buy him, and there you go. So that didn't quite work.
We'll keep Bruno.
No, I think you might. I mean, he didn't want to come to Arsenal, did he? For one reason or another. He's never quite said why, but he clearly didn't want to come to Arsenal, did he? So you know,
not really.
He's made his choice. He'll have to lie in it now, won't he? I'm sure he's happy. He's made the right choice.
Exactly. I think he's brilliant.
Yeah, no, he's a great player. There's no doubt. Russ says Pepe is a luxury signing, 100% luxury. Generally, he'll score when you are 2 or 3-0 up, but he won't be in the trenches. I think that's half the point, actually. I never understand, right? If we're losing a game 1-0, or we're losing a game with 15, 20 minutes to go, bring Pepe on. He might do something amazing, right? If you're winning a game 1-0 or 2-0, don't bring him on, because he's not going to be able to hold the ball. He's not going to be able to run it into corners. He's just going to fall over and give the ball away. I mean, he is a luxury player, but there's not enough luxuries, really. We're not in a position very often to use a luxury player, because we've got to work hard to win games at the minute, so we can't afford him, really. Shane says Pepe is a show pony. Arteta wants a workhorse. Premier League is too quick for him. Yeah, that probably sums him up, actually. I think that's pretty much spot on, actually. Terry says Pepe was class in the AFCON. Yeah, but that's the AFCON, isn't it? The standard of football in the AFCON isn't the Premier League, is it? He was great in the French League as well. The standard of football in the French League overall isn't as strong as the Premier League, is it? And Paul says, love you guys too.
Love him as well, but don't mention Pepe to him, no.
No, you can have Pepe. You can have him. We'll give him tomorrow. Dee says, kick the like button, please. Yeah, if you're enjoying the show, please give it a like as well. And Terry says, AFCON is nowhere near Premier League. Yeah, we just kind of said that it's not nowhere near Premier League level. We know it's not. You know, I think even I could probably get a game in the AFCON, actually. But anyway.
The standard of AFCON, some of them, has not been very good.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't. You know,
it hasn't been very good.
It's a shame because African football they've done in the World Cup, some of the African nations in recent years. It's come on a lot, but then you watch the AFCON and you see some of them. It's like some of the goalkeepers that you think they don't know what they're doing. You know, some of the things you just look at and you think, wow, it's good to watch. It's quite funny, but you know, the standard of African football in general, the depth of it isn't great, is it? The top players are really good, as we've seen in the Premier. There's been some great African players in the Premier League, hasn't there? But the depth in African football, unfortunately, it's still got a bit of a way to go. So yeah, Pepe looks good in the AFCON, and unfortunately. As we said, the Premier League isn't quite as easy to play in, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, you can take Pepe, definitely. You can have him. Tomorrow night.
He's only 29. Is he 28? Is he 28, 29? Pepe?
No, he's younger than that, isn't he? I'm sure he's younger than that. He's only about 24, I think, something like that. He's still fairly young, but he's not young. He's not, he's not too old. I'm sure he's about 24. I'm sure he's about 21 or 22 when we bought him. We've had him, 3 years, haven't we? He must be about 24, surely. 25 maybe maximum.
I think you could be right. I think he's 26.
Is he 20? Oh, he's 20. Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm sure he's about 21 when we bought him. 22 maybe he was then. Yeah, we've had him, 3 or 4 years, haven't we? Dean says there, Pepe's 26. Oh, there you go. You see, he's not actually a young player, is he? He should be at his peak now, shouldn't he? He should be reaching his peak. 26 to 29 is your peak, isn't it, when you're a footballer at the top level? So he should be reaching it. And if this is his peak, then, well, there's not much, not much more you can say with it, is there? But there you go. I mean, maybe tomorrow, it'll probably be in the squad tomorrow, be on our bench. If your owners are listening, if you want to put a bid in for him tomorrow, you can have him. We'll do you a cheap deal, right? We know you've got a lot of money. We paid 75 million for him. We'll take, I don't know, 85. You can have him for 85 million.
85. Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, though. We'll see what Paul say about that then. But if he says no, I say.
I'm sure Paul will be delighted if that happens. He says we couldn't have bought him if he's 26 now. We couldn't have bought him when he was 24. He must have been. When did we sign him? 2019. So we've had him free. He must have been 23 when we bought him in 23. But anyway, he's not a young player, is he anymore? And he should be now at a point where he wants to play every week and he wants to be making a name for himself. Paul says bollocks, exactly. Yeah, I thought you wouldn't be very happy. Maybe we'll knock a few quid off the price and Dean says Pepe would do well at Newcastle. No, he may well do, but it's still the Premier League, isn't it? It's still that pace and that physicality which doesn't really suit him. So I'm not sure if he would do well at Newcastle because they're in the Premier League. I think he needs to go abroad. Maybe go back to France, play there where he did well, or maybe go to in La Liga or somewhere like that. He might do well, or the Italian league or something like that. I don't know. I'm not quite sure he's up to the Premier League. Shane says Arsenal win 2-0. Pepe with a brace. That would be funny, wouldn't it? I bet Paul will take him then after tomorrow.
Wow.
Joe's in the chat there. How you doing, Joe? He says to keep up the great work to Paul. Yeah, exactly. I'm sure he will. Of course, Newcastle want world class, and Pepe is just that top. We're doing our best to try and give him to you. We're trying to, you know what I mean? We're trying to big him up, but personally, I wouldn't touch him. With a prize. He's not quite good enough. I would take ASM from you guys though if you wanted to swap.
I'd rather keep him, but I think he needs to do what he does with better players around him. If you get new players coming in. Yeah. They make him a better player and then go from there. But something for Pepe, probably not.
No,
because I still think there's a player in ASM. There's a player.
Oh no, 100%. I agree. I think when you bring in some better quality players, as you will do now, you've got the money. I think he'll thrive in that, won't he? And Paul says the only brace Pepe will get. We will see tomorrow. You won't be saying that tomorrow night when he comes on and gets a hat trick and we win the game. But I think that's quite unlikely. But yeah, I mean, I think ASM's a good player. I do. He's a bit unpredictable, isn't he? You're never quite sure what he's going to do. But he's an exciting player to watch, isn't he? And as a fan, that's what you want to see, don't you? You want to see players that are going to do some exciting things on the pitch, and that's obviously what ASM does, and what Pepe does to a certain degree. Pepe is quite unpredictable. It's just I find him very predictable. Like that thing against Leeds, did you see that when the goalie had come up for a corner and he got the ball on the halfway line and he just tried to cut inside onto his left foot? It's like there's no one in the goal, mate. Just boot it in front of you and run after it. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Goal.
Crazy, man.
Back inside onto your left foot. I mean, ridiculous. You know, for £75 million, a player who can't kick with their right foot. I mean, I can't kick with my right foot. I'll admit that, right? I'm left-footed. I can't kick with my right foot. But no one's paid £75 million for me, so I don't have to.
That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. We pay £75 million for me. He should be able to kick with his right foot, shouldn't he? At least once in a while. But anyway.
Everyone taken then.
Yeah, Dean says it all depends on the system a club plays, really, where Pepe fits in. It needs to be a system where he hasn't got to do much defensive work, really, because he's not very good at it, is he?
He's not. No. He's 6 foot. He's 6 foot, and he doesn't defend.
No, he doesn't really. He hasn't got that about his game, has he? Every time he tries to tackle someone, he falls over or he fouls them. He hasn't quite got the ability to do it, has he? Shane says, yeah, Newcastle needs centre backs, but who is really well? You say Newcastle needs centre backs. I mean, would you say that they do? Because obviously, I think Fabian Schär's a good player. Dan Burn's a decent central defender, isn't he? You know, I know Tomit's maybe a little bit hit and miss. He's in the squad, isn't he? I mean, would you say that centre backs are a position that you need to strengthen this summer, particularly?
Excuse me. I think you do with one more centre back, in my opinion, because I think Jamal Lascelles will be on his way in the summer. Well, I hope he is anyway. I just don't think he's good enough for Newcastle. Federico Fernandez would definitely be going. Kieran Clark will be on his way. So those defence, I mean, I feel sorry for Federico Fernandez on a way, because when he comes in, I think he's done really well. But obviously, Eddie Howe doesn't clearly fancy him. We haven't heard anything from the guy. So as far as I'm concerned, he's done. Jamal Lascelles, his mistakes proven. If Forest gets promoted, then I think we're driving to Nottingham Forest and forget the repeat, But we definitely need another centre back, 100%. Yeah, someone's going to be dominant. Diego Carlos seems to be mentioned again. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind taking him. Sven Botman, I know Newcastle fans are keep saying, "Oh, we're going to get Sven Botman, we're going to get him, we're going to get him, we're going to get him," right? But for me personally, and I've always said this for months now, he'd end up going to AC Milan. I know people's going to laugh at me when I say that. Yeah, I mean, Paul. I keep telling Paul this as well that he's going to go to AC Milan on a 5-year deal on 56 grand a week. Yeah, but we definitely need a defender. And I tell you what I'd go for as well, and it's another that's not been mentioned. I would go for that Paulo Torres from Villarreal. This guy is an absolute brilliant defender, and he's 6'4", and he defends properly, brings the ball out from the back. That's what we need. I mean, someone's going to come and play from the back, but it's similar to Fabian Schär, but we could do another defender for competition. Just get rid of players like Lascelles, Fernandez, and Kieran Clark. Yeah, let's get someone's going to come in. And it's going to come to the Premier League and going to hit the ground running. I think this guy will be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, obviously Newcastle have a lot of choice. I mean, Russ says, John, are Newcastle affected by financial fair play in the summer? I don't think you are really, are you? Due to what you spent in previous years.
No.
Is that right?
No, not at all. I mean, I know people say I know the orders keep saying they got to swim within FFP rules. Yeah, they don't have to for the next 3 years, apparently. Yeah, but as long as you spend within your means, which obviously you will do, yeah, cool. But all I know that they could spend up to 500 million quid. I don't mean to say to the club, go out and spend 500 million quid in the summer and ruin your transfer window, yeah. But as long as you're sensible with the money, then cool. You know what I mean? But we definitely are going to spend. We're going to spend around about 100 million quid, between 150 million quid. That's what we need to spend, yeah. Because you've got to improve the team. You need to keep we've got to turn over our team. That's what we need to do. Get rid of the ones that aren't good enough and get someone that's coming in now. But I'm hearing as well that players aren't going to come to Newcastle because you're not in the Champions League or in Europe, yeah? But we sold Bruno the project, yeah? He came to a second from bottom, yeah? We sold Kieran Trippier the project. He came to us and all, yeah? We're going to get players going to come in and sorry. I mean, I'm hearing that Matt Targets as well. We're not able to keep him in the summer because you're going to try and get this lad for Atletico Madrid, Lodi, Atletico Madrid left back, another Brazilian, of course, yeah. I heard 21 million's being mooted. I can tell you now, it'd be a lot more than 20 million quid. He's on a 6-year contract and he's been there for 2 seasons, yeah. And I think it's 2 seasons, yeah. And they paid 20 million quid for the guy anyway. So I'm sure Atletico Madrid ain't going to send him for that sort of money.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have to wait and see what happens in the summer. It's going to be. I think Newcastle might spend more than 100 million. They spent 90 million in January. I think you'd be more likely if the financial fair play isn't an issue. I think you'll spend 250 million maybe.
That'd be nice.
Mr. Mark says, we can have Sean Longstaff for Pepe. No, we don't.
You could have Sean. You could have Sean Longstaff. You could have him. Just have him. He's out of contract. He's on free in the summer. He's on free in the summer. So.
No, I don't think he's quite the player that we need to move us forward, actually. But anyway, I'm sure he'll go somewhere else. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of strange that you can spend all that money when financial fair play was brought in to kind of stop that from happening, and it isn't going to be stopping it. But anyway, it is what it is, and we've always tried to, or it seems as though we've always tried to keep our spending within financial fair play, which no one else seems to bother us. I don't know why we are really, but anyway. Shane says, John, let's be real. Bruno went to Newcastle for money and Tiger nightclub. Yeah, I mean, I think the same with Trippier as well. I mean, if you offer a player a decent contract, European football's secondary, isn't it? Yes, they want European football. I mean, they want to play at the top level. Of course they do. But if you offer them enough money, they'll probably think, actually, you know what, I'll go there anyway. And to be fair, Bruno's signing he's going to attract other players, isn't he? Because he's a great player. And other good players look at that and think, if Bruno's in that team, you've got ASM in the team, you've got other good players, Trippier. People might look at that and think, yeah, I'll come to Newcastle because I can see they're going places. So that could be a big signing for Newcastle anyway, Bruno, just the fact that he could attract other players as well. So anyway, so he says, sorry, battery on laptop ran out. I think it was all that world-class Pepe. So, that's definitely going to drain your battery, having to listen to Pepe being world-class. I think that's going to definitely be that
top shelf.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But yeah, I mean, no, I mean, Pepe not for me particularly, but anyway.
Not for you.
No, I'm afraid not, no. I've never, he's never quite, for me, he's never quite been the player that, for the money that we paid for him. And maybe that's not his fault. And it's not his fault that we paid that money for him. We shouldn't have paid that much for him. He was only worth about, I don't know, he's probably only worth 30 million at the most, you know what I mean? And our guy at the time, Raul, who was dealing with our transfers, was in the pocket of the guy at Lyon, and he just gave him more money than, because he agreed to pay it over 5 years, whatever it was. We've got Dan from Turf My House TV.
Big up, Dan.
Yeah, thanks, Dan, for doing us a favour today and beating Tottenham. You know what I mean? Thanks for that. Can't rely on you for anything, can we? Anyway, he says, 2 legends on screen, 3 when you pop this comment up. Well, you were a legend until this afternoon when your team didn't help us. Although you played quite well, actually. When Ashley Barnes hit the post, I was a little bit excited for 5 minutes. Thought that you might have scored, but anyway. He says, John, can you play Ant and Deck on the final day against us? Yeah, I mean, they're going to need a result, probably, aren't they? It's looking that way, the way that it's gone for Burnley. I mean, it's still quite tight at the bottom, isn't it, between Burnley, Leeds, Everton? Who's going to go down? One of them is going to go, aren't they? Personally, my choice, I'm sure your choice will be Everton, really, wouldn't it? Let's be honest. We would like to see them disappear.
Well, look, at the end of the day, right, I mean, Everton are a big club, right? But if they got relegated, I mean, wow, it'd just be I would say it's a shock, but they got bang average players, Everton, some of them. I mean, you look at the squad with Charleston, that guy is class. He really is class. Without scores, then they'd be relegated. They lost today as well, by the way. But going down to 10 men.
They were 2 sent off, didn't they?
Yeah, justified as well, justified. But I think Everton's got 2 games left. They have to beat Palace, and Leeds. What a point! Right in the end, that goal was massive today. That goal from Leeds was massive.
Yes, it was actually. Yeah, it was a big goal. Last minute, yeah. To get them a point, that could be a big point for them. Dan says they're Rich beat Everton. Well, to be honest with you, if we don't beat Newcastle tomorrow, then it's probably not going to matter us beating Everton. So you should hope that we win tomorrow then, Dan, because it means then we will have much more to play for against Everton. So we're more likely to need to beat them. Whereas if we don't win tomorrow, then even beating Everton might not be enough. And if we know Tottenham are winning against Norwich 4-0 or something like that, what motivation have we got? We don't want to help you out for that reason. I personally want Everton to get relegated because of Frank Lampard. I can't stand him, and I want him.
Wow, fair enough. Fair enough.
So I would love Everton to get relegated because of Frank Lampard. No, I quite like Everton as a club. I just don't like Frank Lampard, so I'd like to see him get relegated because I think it'd be quite funny. Dan says, I'll be wearing red until Sunday if it helps. Well, we'll certainly wear red tomorrow. Be cheering us on. You should want us to win tomorrow, Dan, definitely, because I say it will make us more motivated to beat Everton for you on next week. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be quite an exciting last day, I think, anyway. For the relegation is going to go to the last day. The top four could well go to the last day now. I look at it as well. Whatever happens tomorrow night, it's going to go to the last day, isn't it? Because even if we lose tomorrow, it's 2 points to gap, and we'd need Tottenham to lose and us to win. But at least there's something would still be riding on the last game, I guess. And obviously at the bottom, it's going to be as well, isn't it? Because I don't think that final place. I know there's some games midweek, isn't there? But I don't think it's going to be decided until the final weekend of the season. It's going to be quite exciting. The league title as well won't totally be decided, will it yet? I know Man City only got a draw today, didn't they? So that's closed that gap there. If Liverpool win, that's back to a point, isn't it? If Liverpool win on Tuesday, it's back to a point gap, isn't it, going into the last game? So that could be quite exciting as well. But I guess Man City at home probably aren't going to blow it, are they? Let's be honest.
I can't see it. I think Liverpool will beat Southampton on Tuesday night anyway. Yeah. So, and once they do that, then it's game over. Game over.
Yeah, we'll see what happens anyway. At least there's something to play for on the last day, because quite often the last day everything's sorted, isn't it? All the relegations sorted, the champions have been decided, the top four has all been sorted. And Dan says, backside like a chewed orange with all these squeaky bum time game weeks. Yeah, it's been, it must be really tense for you guys, because you've had a lot of games to catch up on, because you were a bit behind, weren't you? Burnley had a few games in hand, so you've had a lot of games to play. And it's been a bit of a up and down ride for you. But I really hope Burnley survive for two reasons. One, I think they're a great little club, and two, it's a great away day. I love going Burnley away. It's my favourite away game of the season, actually. So I hope Burnley stay up just for that reason, so we can go there again next season, because it is a great day out. But plus I say we want Frank to go down, because he deserves it, really, let's be honest. But obviously we're not going to worry too much about the relegation battle. You guys are clear, aren't you, John? So you don't need to worry about the relegation now. I know it looked like you might have to for a while, but you're clear that you can forget relegation, can't you? Now that's all done and dusted for you guys. You don't have to worry about that again, will you ever? Probably now for the future, anyway. I think that's
definitely not. You know what it is. Well, all I said. Beating Leeds. When we beat Leeds earlier in the year, I think that's a springboard to our season. Beating Leeds, and I think it's Everton. And I tell you what, that is absolutely amazing. And I thought we was going to turn it around there. But I thought we were brilliant. I think got us we only lost 3 times this season? 3 times this year? 3 times we lost. Against one of the Big Six as well. And we only picked up 1 point. 1 point we picked up against the Big Six team. I'm hoping for more next season.
I won't be surprised if you get more next season. As Dan says there, Villa game on Thursdays a must not lose. He said John should be lucky they have billions. Well, exactly, that's definitely another difference. It'd be funny, wouldn't it? If Burnley had spent the same as Newcastle did in January, would Sean Dyche have got sacked? Would Burnley still be in the bottom 3 or 4 now? No, they probably wouldn't. Let's be honest.
Probably wouldn't.
That's the way football works, isn't it? Shane says there, the Newcastle is our cup final again. Yeah, we've had a few cup finals in the last few weeks, haven't we? He said, I think we'll win. Sound man, John, even though can't understand the words you say.
Wow.
Well, we can understand John. He's fine.
Thank you.
But no, it is a cup final, and I'm glad Shane thinks we will win. We have to win. Realistically, we have to win the game. Even the draw is not going to be probably enough. So, what will be your score prediction then, John, for the game tomorrow? Because it's a massive game for us. It's a big game for you guys as well. What would your prediction be for tomorrow?
I think this game could go either way. I think we got key players coming back in, which will make a huge difference. And as to you guys, I think your back force will be a problem because you could have players out injured. I'm going to go for a draw here. I know a lot of people, Newcastle fans, say a win, but I don't think it's going to be enough for you, Richard. But I'm going to go for 2s each.
That would be a good game, actually. I'm going to. I hope it will be 2-2. Well, I don't hope we win, but if it was going to be 2-2, at least it's a good, exciting game. I'm not confident that we'll win. A couple of reasons. Whenever we've suffered a bad defeat this season, it's tended to really affect us, and we've gone 2 or 3 games without a win after a bad defeat. Crystal Palace beat us 3-0. We lost our next 2. We lost 4-0 at Liverpool. We lost 2 of the next 3. We lost 5-0 at Man City, and I just feel as though that Tottenham game, just from a confidence perspective, will come at a really bad time. I wouldn't have minded necessarily losing that game. We don't want to lose that game, but if you're going to lose that game, just maybe lose 1-0 or we did get a bit of a hammering in the end, and it could have been a lot worse than 3-0. They had some chances. Goalkeeper played well, so. As Dan says, I'm trying to trust the process. Yeah, but at the minute it's been quite difficult. But yeah, I mean, I'm worried about tomorrow. I'm worried about the injuries that we've possibly got in defence. Although hopefully, as Ryan said earlier, maybe it's Arteta playing mind games, but I'm not convinced they're both going to be 100% fit to play. So that's a worry. We've just come off a bad defeat. That's a worry. Newcastle playing well at home. That's a worry. There's going to be a big atmosphere there. Last home game of the season. Everyone at Newcastle's in a happy mood, enjoying life because of the takeover, and the future for Newcastle's looking good. So it's all come at a bad time for us, I think. Playing on a Monday night as well. So I'm not 100% confident, actually. Terry says 6-1 to Arsenal, Arteta masterclass. And now I'm lying. You normally do go for big wins, Terry, yeah, but I think 6-1 tomorrow is not going to happen, is it? Obviously, we have to win. We have to win. So I'm going to have to predict a win, even though I'm not 100% confident we will win. I think it's going to be a good game of football. I think it's going to be open. I think Arsenal have to attack, and I think we're going to get caught on counter attacks. I think Newcastle have chances. You've got, like you said, you've got some big players back. We've got some players missing, so I think there'll be goals. I'm going to go, and it might sound strange because usually when Arsenal play at St James's Park, it's usually quite a tight game, isn't it? There's been a lot of 1-0s. There's been a lot of 2-1s. It's not a lot of goals usually. There's been a few 0-0s over the years and stuff. But I think this one might be different. I think this might be a throwback to the 1990s when Newcastle used to, win games 5-0 and stuff, and Arsenal used to win games. I think it's going to be a 3-2. I'm going 3-2 to Arsenal because I think there'll be goals, and I think it'll be tense. But I think I don't know if we will, but I'm going to think that we will because we have to, and that's as simple as that, isn't it? So, but it will be a good game, I'm sure, and it will be. It will be tense. It will be a tense night, definitely, especially all that way up in the away end, 5 miles up into the air. You're miles away from the pitch, but it's a great arena for football. Actually, it's at James's Park. It's a great place to go and watch football.
Under the lights as well. Under the lights. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember last time we played Newcastle away on a night game. Actually, it's probably been quite a while.
I
can't even remember actually last time we played you on a night game away. It's got to be a long time ago, isn't it?
I know it's one 2008-9 season when you won by 3 goals. Ashley got the 3rd goal, and 3-1 when Freddie Martins missed a penalty.
Was that a night game? Was that a night game?
That was about. I think that's a 5:30 game. But
was it? Oh, it might have been.
That was one of them.
I think it might have been. Yeah, but yeah, perhaps. But there's not been many, has there? They're normally on a weekend, aren't they? When we play you guys away, so be a good experience under the lights. Terry says, I think Arsenal will come second by 3. I don't think it'll be like that. I think it will be a tight game. I think it'll be close. But I do, Arsenal have to win. Simple as that. So I'm going to hope. I hope that we can win, but I'm not expecting it to be. It's certainly not going to be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination, but hopefully it'll be good to watch and we can get the result and then take it to the last game in our hands. Would be nice. Beat Everton and send them down and we get top 4. That'd be a nice last day for the season, wouldn't it? Send Frank down. See you later, Frank. Bye. And that'll be that. He'll probably get sacked, wouldn't he? I would have thought if they get relegated.
I don't think he'll be sacked. I don't think he will.
You don't if they go down?
No, I don't think he'll be sacked. I think he'll get them back up. Get them back up if they do go and get relegated. But they got Palace on Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. They need to win that game as well. That's tough.
They do, yeah. It is tough. Palace are a decent team this season, aren't they? They're not losing too many games. They draw quite a lot. They drew today, didn't they? They tend to draw a lot of games. But Everton will need to win, don't they? Terry says, I don't have any confidence in Arteta. I don't particularly. Actually, just before we finish, John, I want to ask you, because I've asked pretty much every other team's fans that I've had on, what do you make of Arteta overall as a manager? What have you made of his job at Arsenal over the last couple of years?
To me, he has improved from 2 8th place finishes. Right, he has improved. For me, personally, he would have been my manager. I can't lie. But what he has done. I mean, he's given the young players a chance, and he's going to try his damage to get you into the top 4. But I think he prefers young players, and the way he handled Aubameyang, which I think is wrong. Okay, yes, what Aubameyang's done, he's been late for training set, etc. It's not the first time he's done that, but he could have kept to the end of the season and then do something about it. But me personally, I mean, he would have been my manager, but he's done really, really well for what he's done. But he has split the fans. I know the fans are singing, you got to make a test, you know exactly what you need, right? Obviously, some of them believes in him as well, but he's done all right. He's done a good job getting to where he wants you to take us, yeah. But in my opinion, I mean, he wouldn't be my manager, but I think he's done well. He's done a lot better than I thought he had. What do you think?
No, but you see, this is interesting, right? And what I found this season, because I say I've had fans from West Ham on the channel, I've had Dan from Burnley on, I've had different fans of different clubs on the channel before games, and everybody pretty much has said the same thing as what you've said. Arteta's done a really good job, but they don't want him at their club. If he's not good enough for Newcastle, why is he good enough for Arsenal?
Exactly. I mean, obviously your board, Ed, you and Vinay and whoever's there, got every faith in him, to suit into their project, in their project. So obviously they work together, and obviously Eddie and that lot obviously thinks he's progressed. He's got used into Europe, and the strange thing is, why gave him a 3-year contract, knowing that you're not even going to make the Champions League yet? I don't get that at all whatsoever. But he should have waited to the end of the season. That was a crazy decision.
To be honest, I wouldn't even have waited till the end of the season. What I would have done, he had a year left on his contract already, right? So he was already going to be manager next season, right? Unless they sacked him. Now, if we're in Europe, which we're going to be in Europe now, whatever competition we're in, last season we were in Europe and we struggled in the Premier League. We finished 8th, but we did a decent enough European run, got to the semi-final. What I would have done was next season, see how we cope with a European campaign, and can we still compete for the top 4 again and do well in Europe? Is Arteta able to do that for the club? If he is, at the end of next season, or maybe halfway through next season, whatever it is, give him a new contract then, when he's proved it. He's done nothing for me yet. Yes, he won the FA Cup with a team that wasn't even his, really. It was a team he inherited. He won the FA Cup. Fair play to him, right? Brilliant. That was a great experience to have done. But since then, he's got rid of all of the experienced players he had. He's brought a load of young kids in. And, we didn't make any progress last season. We got out of Europe completely. He's got us back into Europe again, which was the minimum he had to do anyway. Why are they offering him a new contract? No, too early. See how he does next season first. And then at that point, then, if things are going well next season, if he's proving that he can cope with a European campaign, he can cope with the Premier League as well, he can get in the top 4 once. If we get in the top 4, getting in once is not enough. He's got to be consistently getting there every year, or at least getting on the edge of challenging for every single year, being there or thereabouts every single year. That's what he's got to do. If he can't do that, then he's not good enough. And at the moment, he's not even done it once yet. He hasn't got us in the top 4 yet. I mean, he may do. Let's pray he can. These last.
Maybe
next year with a European campaign as well, and he's got to get us back up there again. And it's going to be harder because Newcastle are going to be buying, challenging. Tottenham are going to be better next season. Man United are probably going to be better than they were this season. They've got a new manager. So, the contract was silly for me. It was really silly. But I just find it strange that fans of other clubs that I've spoken to have said exactly the same as you. He's doing a great job, but I don't want him at my club. Well, why not? If he's not good enough for Burnley, if he's not good enough for West Ham, if he's not good enough for Newcastle, why on earth is he good enough for Arsenal? I just don't understand it. I don't understand it personally, me.
I know what you mean, but I'm going to say that you're right there. He should not have given him a new contract. He should wait until next season and see how he does.
I would definitely,
Now he's on a 8 million contract, £8 million contract now, right? There's no way you're going to get rid of him, whether he does get in the top 4 or not. He's not going to get. Well, if he does get in top 4, he won't be sacked. Yeah, I don't think he ever be sacked now because they believe in him. Yeah, he's a young manager. I've got what he should have done, in my opinion, getting a couple of experienced players coming in.
Yeah, exactly.
Get like players like Gunnar Flash saying they need experienced players coming in. You should have kept Aubameyang, to see if I don't know if Aubameyang's there now, he would have got you top 4. And also, like you said earlier, you should have got a replacement in January, like you said. And Arteta didn't do that. You needed a midfielder. he needed a striker and he needed probably another defender to see us through to the top 4. But Arteta chose not to. And if you don't get the top 4 this season, then it's going to come back to that. And also not winning enough games.
I mean, Tom's in the chat there. He says, I disagree. He's our manager. Support him, support the players. No, exactly. I mean, while he's there, obviously we'll support him. We'll support the team and everything else. We want the best for Arsenal. I'm personally not convinced he's the right man to take us forward. He's done nothing so far to really convince me that he is. Tom's also says there, they were dead wood. The players we got rid of, well, they were dead wood that won us the FA Cup. And since then, he got rid of them all. We haven't really got better. So were they dead wood or were they just players he couldn't manage? He couldn't manage Ozil. He couldn't manage Aubameyang. You know, Aubameyang for me still had something to offer in the Premier League. He could still score goals if he was managed properly. He definitely could have done. Was he dead wood? No. Some of them you could say were, but we got rid of Kolasinac, right? I'm not saying Kolasinac was any good, but is he better than Tavares? Mustafi? Could Mustafi not have come in and done the job tomorrow night when we've got no other centre backs? Probably. We got Saliba out on loan. Why didn't he bring Saliba back in January? You know,
come on to Saliba as well. I mean, you should get him back. Get him back. Give him a chance. And Guendouzi's doing well at Marseille as well. But the problem is, because of his attitude, Arteta wouldn't have him back.
Yeah, that seems to be the case. Gwyneth Blythe says, Arteta doing okay, but we need some top experienced players. No, we do. Exactly. We need experienced players, but is Arteta going to buy experienced players? Does he want to buy experienced players? Because he just got rid of a load. Tom says there, who would you get in? Conte? Well, I wouldn't get in Conte, no, because he's busy elsewhere. But there's plenty. We're Arsenal. We can get any manager we like. Honestly, we're Arsenal. We can get absolutely any manager that we want. I don't care who. If we approach the manager, we're Arsenal, so we can get him. Tom says, he doesn't agree with me at all. He says, Aubameyang was horrendous from when we played Newcastle. Absolutely horrendous. Uber needed booting out. Yeah, but you see, we don't know.
I understand that.
His form went. Aubameyang's form went. Now, for me, the form went because he was being asked to play a role in the team that he wasn't suited to. So he's never going to get the best out of him, right? If you're the manager of a team and you've got a 30-goal striker, which Aubameyang was a 30-goal striker under Emery and before in his career, he's been a 30-goal striker. If you've got a 30-goal striker, what you've got to do is, yes, you might not like certain aspects about what he's like as a character or a player, but what you've got to do is, you've got to, for the benefit of the team, you've got to get the best out of him. So you've got to play him where he can score goals. Stick him in the penalty area where he can score goals. Don't make him come back and cover your left back, because he's not going to want to do that. He's not very good at that. And because he was being forced to do that, obviously his mind went. And that was down to bad management of the player, in my opinion. I think Aubameyang, if you manage him right, yes, you've got to maybe make allowances for him sometimes, his ego and his other stuff off the pitch and his brother and all this kind of stuff, right? And yes, it was a distraction. Be too much. I'm not saying don't get rid of Aubameyang. What I'm saying is you've got two things to do: either keep him, get the best out of him, or you get rid of him and get a replacement. And I didn't do either. You got rid of him and didn't replace him, right? So that was a mistake. That was bad management. Now, whether you agree Aubameyang should have gone or not, that's a different debate. I personally think we should have kept him until the end of the season, because he scored 7 goals when we got rid of him. He was our top scorer at the time, right? It's at Christmas. He was hardly playing and he scored 7 goals. He could have got us another 7 goals, and those 7 goals might have won us some of them games that we lost. And we've been the top 4 already. So it was a mistake to get rid of him when he did. Arteta should have swallowed his pride, made things right with Aubameyang, and said to him at the end of the season, I'm going to let you go, but work for me now. And that's what he should have maybe done. Tried to do that and see what happened. But anyway, he didn't, and he's gone, and that's it. You know,
can I just say something, Richard? Look at Tom's comments, right? Why didn't Newcastle sell Aubameyang if he was that good? Yes, I would love to have him number 1. Number 2, Eddie Howe didn't want him, right? Number 3, he's still good because he scored 11 and 16 for Barcelona.
No, exactly. And if you use Aubameyang right, he'll score your goals. And he fell out at Dortmund, right? When I think Tuchel was manager, wasn't he, at Dortmund? And Aubameyang fell out and wanted to leave. And what happened is, in his next game, Tuchel brought it back into the team. Aubameyang scored a hat-trick. He fell out with Arteta. Arteta put him back in the team, and he didn't play. And there's a difference there in the way the manager handled that player as well. Yes, the player's got to look at himself as well. The player's got to say, you know what, my attitude needs to change. And yes, the player needs to do more. But ultimately, the manager's got to do more. He offered him that contract. Arteta offered Aubameyang that contract, didn't he? The year before, he offered him a massive contract. That was Arteta's decision, or he was a part of that decision. So you've got to then say, right, I'm going to do what I can do. I've got to do what I can do. Tom says a different league. Anyone can score in Spain. Well, yes, it's a different league, but he was scoring in the Premier League. He won the Golden Boot 2 years ago.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? He can score in the Premier League. He's proved it time and time again. And, but yes, I'm not saying we should have kept Aubameyang. What we should have done is either replaced him or kept him till the end of the season and got more out of him. That's the manager's job. That's what the manager's job is. The manager's job is to get most out of your players. And if you can't manage a player because you can't deal with them, fair enough, get rid of them, but get somebody in, replace him. Don't just let him go and leave it, which is what we did. Terry says there's no man management skills. I think that's a little bit of an issue. I agree. It could well be an issue. Tom says there, you cannot have players who are better than Arsenal, which he was doing absolutely solid for us. No, yeah, but like I said, he was being asked to play a role that didn't suit him. And I think that's one of the problems. With Aubameyang, you need Aubameyang to be in the penalty area because he's a finisher in the box. He's not, or you can cut him from the left-hand side and he was dangerous. But if you're making him defend, he did the same. Arteta did the same with Ozil. He wanted Ozil to come back and play left back at times in the game. That's not Ozil's strength. If you've got a player like Ozil, you could say he's a luxury player, and I agree to a certain degree. But when you've got him, you've got to use him properly. It's no good saying if I was Ozil, if I was managing Ozil, I'd say Ozil, stick yourself in the other half of the pitch. Don't come back and defend. And just let the rest of the team give you the ball. Give him the ball at every opportunity. Make runs off him, and he'll be effective. If you say to Ozil, you've got to come back and cover your left back. You've got to tackle in midfield. He's not going to do that. He can't do it. It's not his game. You're going to be taking away 50% of his effectiveness, and that's what Arteta did with Ozil, and that's what he did with Aubameyang, and that's why Aubameyang stopped scoring because he took away 50% of his effectiveness by not managing properly. That's how I saw it. And I'm not saying Aubameyang's completely blameless because he had a part to play. He didn't cover himself in glory himself, did he? With his behaviour, and I accept that as well. And he needed to look at that as well. But ultimately, that's what happened. Tom says, well, that makes no sense. We should have got rid of him, but needed to play. Well, no, exactly. We didn't do either, did we? We did one, but not the other. We got rid of him, but we didn't replace him. What we had to do was either keep him and get more out of him, or sell him, or get rid of him and replace him. And we didn't do either of those two things, did we? In Sweden, we left with no strikers other than Eddie and Lacazette, and neither of them two can score goals. So, seems strange. Mr. Mark says, Aubameyang's wages were too high for Newcastle. Well, they wouldn't be now, would they? I suppose.
He'd be now.
You can have him now if you want. I'm sure he might come now, mightn't he? Now you can pay him a bit more, maybe. I don't know. Shay says, Martinelli was our best player against Spurs and he took him off. How many games did we come from behind to win? His in-game management is not great, yet they just don't have the experience. No, you're right. And see, Martinelli's another one. Martinelli was scoring, he scored 10, 12 goals in his first season under Emery. And now he scored 5 goals this season, Martinelli. He's not scoring enough goals. Why is his goals dried up? Aubameyang's goals dried up under this manager. Arteta hasn't bought a striker. Does he not know how to work on the attacking side of the team? Has he not got coaches that can do that? Because he doesn't seem to be able to. He can't get the best out of his attacking players. He never has done. Terry said, world-class players don't become crap overnight. They don't. And Tom says, I like you, Rich, but we aren't going to no, I mean, look, at the end of the day, we don't have to agree on everything, do we? And I'm not saying Aubameyang was right in his behaviour, because he wasn't. He wasn't right in the way he behaved, but I think Arteta should have done either worked with him to get him to work till the end of the season and get him to work for the team better and to produce results for the team, or replace him. You can't just get rid of him and leave him. And Guna for Life says, Ozil became useless overnight. Ozil didn't want to do the job he was being asked to do, did he? Let's be honest. And I think there was other issues going on with Ozil. He was slightly different, but I don't feel as though Emery or Arteta used Ozil in the right way to get the best out of him. And you're not going to get the best out of a player like that if you don't use him right. And I think the same as that with Aubameyang personally. But yes, both of their attitudes were wrong. I agree with that 100%. But that was, this is stuff that we can maybe discuss more at the end of the season, perhaps, because we'll know where we finish. If we finish top 4, Arteta's got it right, hasn't he? He's got it right because he's got the result that he needed. And we can't argue with that, and I won't be arguing with that. If we don't get top 4, when we should have got top 4 in the position that we've been in, then we can look at those decisions and say, could they have been dealt with better, and it would have enabled us to get top 4? I mean, he's here for the next 4 years anyway, so he's going to have to work on improving certain things, isn't he? Mikel Arteta at the end of the day, because he's here for a while, and we can't keep going through this every season. Are we good enough to get top 4 or not? We should be. We should be now looking at getting top 4. I say regular now, getting up there every year. That should be the aim for next season and beyond. So let's see if he can do it. But he's going to get the chance, which is the main thing, isn't it? Tom says, we are still 4th with 2 to go. It's in our hands, and we'll batter Newcastle tomorrow. Well, we're not 4th, we're 5th now because Tottenham won. We're actually 2 points behind them. So, yes, it is in our hands. We win our 2 games, we come 4th. Happy days. 2 tough games though. And as I said earlier, Tom says the same. Send Everton down Sunday. Exactly. That's what I want to do. I want to get in top 4 and send Everton down next Sunday. That'll be a fantastic finish to the season, won't it?
Wow.
Anyway, we got a little bit sidetracked there with Aubameyang and stuff, but it's all, it's all stuff that's important to Arsenal, I guess. Not so much for Newcastle for tomorrow, but anyway, Aubameyang's gone now. He can't even play tomorrow, so it's pointless talking about him, really, I suppose.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, Arteta it's funny because I say other fans of other clubs like Arteta, but don't want him. So I sometimes find that a little bit difficult to get my head around. It's like, well, would you not have taken him over Eddie Howe in November?
If I'm honest with you, probably. Oh, that's a tough one. Probably not. But if he came to us, we have to support him because we as Newcastle fans. We do support the manager. Do you know what I mean? And
Steve Bruce. You didn't really support Steve Bruce, though, did you? Let's be fair.
Nah. I mean, I will not having I will not taking him. I mean, I never wanted him in the first place. I never wanted him here. And when he came, I never backed him from day one. Never backed him. But people say you got to back the manager. Yeah. But I know who I back. Steve Bruce was not that guy. I'm telling you, we've technically wasted 2 seasons and a bit with this guy. If we had Eddie Howe beginning of the season and the takeover came through, we're doing much higher where we are.
Yeah, no, 100% you would. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's funny actually because you're saying that you wasted 2 odd years with Steve Bruce, and I'm not going to disagree with you. I think you probably did. I kind of feel a little bit the same with Arteta, that we've wasted 2.5 years with Arteta so far because we haven't really. Yes, if we get top 4, then that's fair enough. We've done everything we could have expected to have done. Tom says there, Arsenal fans need that mentality, support the manager. Well, no, what we need to do is support the club. The club, individuals come and go, and they're not important. What's important is the club and the fans, because we'll always be here. The club will always be here. Who the manager is almost secondary. Who the players are secondary. Yes, you need great players and you need a great manager if you're going to be successful. But ultimately, the fans and the club are what are most important, because we've been here for years. We'll always be here. And yes, we'll support the team for 90 minutes every game that they're playing. Of course we will. We'll get behind them because we want to give them that support because they deserve it on the pitch, and the manager as well. But when things, it doesn't mean we have to be blind to the mistakes they make, and we can't criticise them when they get things wrong, because that's all part of what it's about, isn't it? It means so much to us that we can't just allow these things happen and not say, well, actually, Arteta's got things wrong, but I'm okay with it because I'm going to support him because he's our manager. No, if he gets things wrong and it's affecting the club, it's affecting my happiness of the club, I'm going to be upset and I'm going to say that. Great. And I think we've got the right to say that, haven't we? As fans,
absolutely.
Because we invest our money, we invest our time, we invest our life in supporting the club. So we've got a right to say, actually, Arteta, you're not doing the job that I want you to do. It's not. It makes no difference what I say. It makes no difference what anybody says. The club decide who the manager is, and while he's there, of course, during the games we support. Of course, we do. We support the team, we support the players, everything. But ultimately, we individual people aren't as important as the club as a whole and the fans as a whole. We're more important, and that's at every club, isn't it? Every club's the same. Individuals at the club will come and go. I've seen 5 or 6 different managers at Arsenal. I've seen hundreds of different players come and go. You know what I mean? And yes, we love some of them, we hate some of them. Yeah. Same with the managers, right? But at the end of the day, we're still here. All this time later, I'm still here supporting Arsenal after 45 years. I'm still here. So, Arteta won't be in 45 years' time, will he? He won't be managing in 45 years' time. He might well be watching the team from his, in his little wheelchair and that when he's like 90 or whatever. But
I'll be 98. I'll be 98 in 45 years' time.
I'll be in my unders, like if I'm still around. So,
wow.
Anyway. Shane says Arsenal fans need to support the club. No, we support the club. Exactly, the club. I've always supported the club. The club is what matters to me. Arsenal is what matters to me. Terry says it's hard to support Arteta and keep making the same mistake. No, it is. But again, when the game's on, you got to support him. I do. But afterwards, I'm going to say you got that wrong, and I'm not happy. You got that wrong last week, and you're not learning. I'm not happy. And you've made decisions I don't agree with, and I'm not happy, and that's fine. But for 90 minutes, of course, we get behind it. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be at the game. I'll be shouting and screaming for the team. Of course, I will support them because that's what it's about. That's what you go for. But it doesn't mean if we lose or if we draw and we make silly mistakes, I'm not going to, at the end of the game, I'm not going to be saying, "Oh, brilliant, Arteta, well done." I'm going to be saying, "Arteta, you got that wrong." I'm not happy.
Exactly. Get it. You got to be honest. And we are Newcastle fans, right? And we don't want to talk about the negatives, yeah? I mean, I taught the whole thing as podcasters, right? Like we both are, and Paul, we say how it is. If it ain't right, it gets taught. And if people have a go at us on social media, okay, cool, yeah, I just ignore them, yeah, or just block them if it gets too much. But I say it how it is. I mean, people. I mean, I said to people at Emerald Craft, right? He ain't good enough for Newcastle. He's got to be the worst right back I've seen in a long, long time, yeah. And I get people jumping on this, yeah. The last 3 or 4 games, he's been all right. But the last game against Man City, okay, he won the early one. He was poor. But at the end of the day, he's got left on his contract. Would I keep Emerald Craft? I'll keep him, but as a backup player. That's it. Behind Kieran Trippier.
No, exactly. And there's nothing wrong with wanting more for your club, is there? Because it means so much to us. You know, as GoFly says, as an Arsenal fan, I'm used to seeing managers make the same mistakes. Wenger constantly made the same mistakes. But had better players to cover them up. Yeah, that's probably true, actually. And Tom's rightly says, we'll always be here. They are only custodians. Exactly. No one owns their club. Well, they sort of do own the club, don't they? I suppose the owners of the club kind of own the club, but they're not more important than we are because they won't own a club forever. And we will still be here afterwards. Unfortunately, to pick up the mess maybe that's been left. But anyway, hopefully it won't be too much mess. Shane says, Wenger's last 3 years, his record is better than Arteta's first 3, but we want more. That's exactly right. I want more than we were getting under Wenger at the end, and we're not getting more, are we, yet? But we may well do. And if we do, it'll be happy days. Mr. Mark says, how do you think your young team will cope with the atmosphere at St James's Park? Last game at home under lights and war flags. It will be electric. No, it will be electric. And that is going to be a test, isn't it, for some of those players in our team tomorrow night? It's going to be a big test. And that's what's going to, it's going to decide whether or not we are ready to play Champions League football, maybe. If we can't cope with that atmosphere at St James's Park tomorrow, then are we good enough to be the opportunity to play the Champions League? Probably not. So we'll see. Do I think we can? I think we can, but will we be able to is another matter. And that's the key, isn't it? If it gets to some of those players on the night, the atmosphere, and then we can't afford 1 or 2 passengers tomorrow, can we, or people that can't cope because we'll lose. Everybody has to be focused and ready to deal with that. And it's part of the game, isn't it? We had a big atmosphere at Tottenham. We didn't cope with that the other night and we lost. So we need to learn from that, go into this big atmosphere tomorrow and show that they can deal with it. I think they're capable of doing it, but will they on the night? I never know what Arsenal are going to turn up at the minute, if I'm honest. I don't know. If it's the good Arsenal, then we'll win. If it's the bad Arsenal, we'll lose, probably. That's how it seems to have gone. Dean says, I'm 44 and I've seen Arsenal go through loads of ups and downs and always supported whoever takes charge of Arsenal, always want the best for my club. Exactly, that's it. That's what we all want. We all want the best for the club. And we've all got our opinions as to what the best is, and some people believe Arteta's the best for the club. Great. If you believe that, that's fantastic. That's up to you to feel like that. If other people don't feel that they do, that he is the right man for that, then fair enough. Tom says, is Joe Willock playing tomorrow? I think he's injured, isn't he?
I think he's out for the season.
Yeah, that's what I heard he was, yeah. Going for life says, Willock will score an own goal and help us win. Well, he won't because he's injured, unfortunately. I'm sure he would have done had he been playing. He probably would have scored an own goal. We'd have loved him even more. But yeah, I don't think he can play, unfortunately. Which is a shame, actually, because I do quite like Joe Willock. He wasn't quite good enough for Arsenal, but I like him as a guy. He's a nice guy. He did okay for Arsenal, and I wish him well. It would have been nice for him to play tomorrow, actually. But anyway, we've got Bargav there. He says, not you guys, but saying it as it doesn't give people the license to be pricks. No, I actually agree with you. It doesn't. But everyone's allowed an opinion, aren't they? And as long as you back it up with some sort of reason as to why you got it, that's fine. Exactly. Without the fans, there's no club system. Exactly, 100%. Yeah, but are we always appreciated for what we do? Probably not. Sky certainly don't care, do they? Making us travel to Newcastle. It's all right for me. I live in Newcastle, but for Arsenal fans in London, coming up to Newcastle on a Monday night, who's caring about the fans there? Do you know what I mean? You think they would have learned, Sky, wouldn't you, when the grounds were empty in COVID and that, how important fans are? But they still carry on, don't they? Mr. Mark says, Willock and Shelby out for the season. Yeah, I heard that as well, which is a shame, because I'd quite like to see Joe Willock tomorrow. But anyway.
Exactly. I think you've been against you, but yeah, look, end of the day, they're both out, and our midfield's going to be a bit, I wouldn't say weak in the way, but I don't want to see Sean Longstaff in that team. But Eddie's going to pick him tomorrow. Just watch.
Yeah, I mean, do you have a lot of other options, though, without Shelby and Willock fit? Do you have many other options to play in that position?
You could put Joe Linton back in midfield, Joe Linton, Bruno, and it's going to be Sean Longstaff, unfortunately, but we haven't really. And he's only one available at this moment in time. But Aison's play right on the left. I think we play right on the right. And I think Callum Wilson play up front. So we haven't got no options in the midfield. Matty Longstaff sat on loan, Mansfield. So right. He's no big shakes. It's going to be Sean Longstaff, I'm afraid.
But then we've got Mohamed El Neni, so there you go. It's kind of that evens itself out a little bit, doesn't it?
It does.
He's done all right, El Neni. To be fair, he's done well.
Done all right.
Tom says you're going tomorrow, Rich. Yeah, I'm going to be there tomorrow. Looking forward to it. I haven't been to a game for a while, actually, for one reason or another. So, I'm going to.
Where are you sitting tomorrow?
Sorry.
Where are you sitting?
Well, I just did it away in somewhere at the top, somewhere miles away from the pitch.
Wow.
But yeah, I think we're Roel or something. I think in is it that stand, the away stand with the right at the top tier up there. We're up there somewhere. At the back. Bargav says, what's with Joe Linton in the midfield? He's been playing in midfield, hasn't he, quite a bit now?
He's been excellent. He's been absolutely excellent. I mean, under Eddie Howe. I mean, winning the balls in midfield, his passing ability is great, and that should be his role. I don't want to see him up front ever again, and or the left-hand side, but midfield is the place for him. But we're definitely going to buy midfield in the summer. I think Paqueta's name's been mentioned quite a lot.
Yeah, it has been, I mean, I'll say there's going to be a lot of changes at Newcastle this summer, I think. Shane says, how far is Newcastle from London to travel on a Monday night? Sky Sports is all for the fans. Well, it's about 300 miles from Newcastle to London, so a round trip of 600 miles on a Monday night isn't exactly ideal. I know a lot of Arsenal fans are staying over, actually, overnight and going back on Tuesday, but it's holiday off work and stuff, isn't it? It's not easy, is it, to do this kind of stuff? Do you know what I mean? John's going for life says, are you doing an after-match report with John after the game tomorrow? Are you going tomorrow, John?
I'm not, mate. I'm doing a watch-along tomorrow night with Grace. Grace Thompson's coming on with us. And on Tuesday, I'll be going on Lottie's channel for the review. So that'll be Monday and Tuesday night. But also between that, I've done John and Macy's show on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. So I'll be there.
Oh, you've got a lot going on, haven't you? As always, a lot going on. Bargab says, is Newcastle going in for another striker this summer? I would imagine there will be, won't they?
100%.
Another striker.
100%. Yeah. 100%. I mean, try to get that who get Ekiteke for him, but reports are coming out that Borussia Dortmund wants him as well. But if you're going to get this guy, we need to get him very, very quickly.
Yeah, no, I'd say so. Yeah, but yeah, I'm sure there'll be a lot of changes in the summer at Newcastle. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, and obviously next season could be quite interesting. Hopefully, we're in the Champions League and we can enjoy that again. But we'll see. A big 2 games, a big game tomorrow night. It's going to be good fun. So I'm sure it'll be a good game. It'll be definitely worth watching. John, just give your channel a little plug then before you go, because I know you do. You're very busy over on there, aren't you? You do a lot of stuff over on your channel.
Yeah, man. Yeah, thanks very much indeed, my guy. If you also find us on Twitter, it's John_NEFC42. If you want to go on Twitch, it's John Sinclair TV. YouTube, John Sinclair TV. On Insta, John Sinclair 50, Facebook, John Sinclair TV as well. So I've got 4 or 5 socials out there, and I'll do like the previews, reviews, watch-alongs, interviewing the fans. John and Macy show on a Tuesday night. The fans form on a Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, and and also do like Twitter. Twitter and social media Muppet Show as well sometimes. So I should be doing that. If it's not going to be this week, I could done it on a Saturday. You never know. I'm gonna people like Oliver Holt, Mugo Delane's gonna be on that list as well, and a few other Muppets on there. So which I'm gonna name and shame them.
Nah, good stuff. Good stuff. That sounds like it'd be good. So definitely follow John, because he's an entertaining guy, as you've seen tonight on the show, and he's definitely worth following. He's a good lad. He's a good laugh. And it's always good to chat and enjoy the game tomorrow. Enjoy your watch along as well. Hopefully, it'll be a good game. Let's hope that the best team wins, as long as it's us, of course, because we need to win more than you do. So that's the end of the day, isn't it? That's just what it is. Stephen says, great show, guys. I'll catch you later. Yeah, cheers, Stephen, for watching, mate. Thanks for everyone else. Thanks for all you guys for watching. It's the first time I've been able to go live on a channel for a week or so due to a little ban that I got for showing a game last week, a tiny little bit of a game I showed, the WSL, a tiny little bit of it, and the FA took my whole channel down for a week. So thanks for that, FA, because it's not like, you know, you need the money or anything, is it? But anyway, Shane says there, I've seen John on Albert's channel. He's a great guy. Thanks, lads. He's a great guy. We love
Thank
John.
you.
Always a pleasure to have him on. So yes, I say it's good to be back live again. So thanks all you guys for watching, all the comments and that. I've missed all that actually. I've missed speaking to all you guys in the chats as well because I've not been able to go live for a while. So it's good to be back. And thanks to everyone for watching. Obviously, thanks to John. Don't forget to check out John on all your social medias that he said. There's loads of stuff there. Great stuff to watch with John. Obviously, we'll enjoy the game tomorrow. I'll be there. I'll have a vlog up at some point probably. I might be trying to speak to a few of the Newcastle guys. I think Paul's going, isn't he? So I'll see if I can bump into him tomorrow. Cool. Maybe see it and a few of the other guys. Maybe I think Pete's going to be going. Is he Proudlock? He'll be going, won't he, as well? I would have thought he's normally there, isn't he? So I'll see if I can bump into a few of them tomorrow. That could be pretty good. Terry says, nice to have met you, John. Bad luck, hopefully, for you tomorrow. Have a great time tomorrow, Victor, and see you all soon. Cheers, Terry. Thanks for watching. We will speak very, very soon. I will do a show this week looking back at the Newcastle game and looking ahead to the final weekend. I'm not sure what night it'll be. It might have to be Wednesday. I'm not sure I can do Tuesday this week. I'll have to see, but I'll sort that out very soon. And then, of course, next weekend, the big watch along for the Everton game, final game of the season, which could be important and exciting. So, loads coming up on the channel. So, please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to like and subscribe to John's channel as well. Some great stuff there. John Sinclair TV over on YouTube. So, definitely do that as well. I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching. Thanks to John. Enjoy the game tomorrow, mate. And we'll speak very soon.
Thanks very much. See you very soon. How about that tune? Pepe. Over again, Jesus said, "Paddy, I sang it so well."